Welcome to Drinkin Bros, presented by GhostBed.com. Welcome to Drinkin Bros podcast. For 4 years, you've waited for this day. Here we are, kids. It is the election prediction show, and we thought to ourselves, who better to have on the show than Alex Jones himself? Welcome to Drinkin Bros.
Guys, I love your new digs. This is amazing.
Although the first guest that told us to open up with calling him a dirtbag.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. I like that. I think it's
Well,
funny.
no, you're only allowed to have this video shared if you say, you're a piece of filth, we denounce you and resent you. And so renounce me and say you endorse Mao Zedong and the end of America, and this will get pushed everywhere.
Perfect.
I denounce you because of your beauty.
Yeah.
Here's what we'll do. We'll name the episode Alex Jones is a dirtbag - election 2020. How about that?
Handicapping election 2020.
Yeah.
Oh,
man.
Oh, man.
We're going to go hard in the paint here. You walked into the building, first of all, and you said, this should have been mine. You tried to get this studio.
I did. This is totally insane. About 3-4 months ago, we were trying to get the studio because it's so cool, and it's pretty close to our office, where we're right by Joe Rogan's office. This is getting a little weird. And I wanted this so it could be kind of like an underground deal that I wasn't affiliated with, so we could promote all and fund all these other podcasts and get around deplatforming. And then they twice would say they're going to meet us and not meet us.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, we're right by our office. So today I'm driving over, I'm like, holy crap. And I pull in here, I go, this is the place. I never got in here. And now the wood paneling in this place, I'm jealous. I'm actually envious right now.
It looks like it may have been a law firm in the 70s or something, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's what it feels like. And that's why we dug it, where it was like, all right, cool. It feels like a fraternity house.
But there's
I'm
the high
jealous.
ceilings is what's perfect for this setup.
Yeah,
everything,
You
yeah.
need the lights up.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it's incredible, and we're grateful to have you here. Now, we just moved to Austin. A bunch of podcasts are moving to Austin. I find it ironic that we're having you on our show before Joe Rogan is having you on his show. What is going on with Spotify? What is going on with Joe Rogan and the Spotify deal? Because your episodes have vanished from there. 43 episodes are gone. 2 of them are yours. And to my knowledge, they were the biggest episodes of all time on Joe Rogan.
Well, what happened is, Joe's actually had a house here for a few months, and he'd already pretty much moved here. He went back to L.A. at the end of August and got his family. And so I knew all that, and then Joe's like, don't talk about it. But then one night, he calls me up, and he's like, yeah, okay, great. I'm not going to be censored on Spotify. You can tell people, screw YouTube because they censored me and stuff. And I'm like, can I say all this? And he goes, yeah, sure. Well, then I go and say it on the air, and it becomes this huge issue. So I go, okay, I'm not going to make it political. Let's just pull that back because, they're putting a lot of heat on Joe, which kind of triggered the SJWs to then say, oh, no, he's not getting free speech here either. And so what I said that Joe told me was basically true. Maybe a little hyperbole, like he's declaring war on the censors. He didn't say that, but he was like, F them. They won't have medical doctors on that say they're exaggerating COVID-19. They won't have medical doctors on. We're not saying it's a hoax. Who were talking about things that are alternative treatments and things like that. I think that's wrong. F that. And I said, can I say that? I said, yeah. And so then it's in his contract that he can, quote, have Alex Jones or anybody else he wants at Spotify. So technically that's true. And so then that happens. And then he finally moves over. The stock goes up a couple $2 billion. All that goes on. They choose the, quote, transphobic stuff where he's like, look, Kyle Jenner, whatever his name is, still has the meatloaf in his pants and all this stuff, and he thinks it's a publicity stunt. He's not against.
I think the medical term is dick and balls.
Dick and balls.
Am I right about that, guys? Anybody? Yeah.
Any doctors out there? Yep, it's Dick and Balls.
Yeah,
We just got a
And
confirmation
I mean,
from a
here's
doctor.
the true thing. I don't care if some dude wants to take hormones and thinks he's a chick. I don't care the Wachowski brothers Wachowski brothers. I literally don't hate those people. But then I still can get to make comments and say it's a publicity stunt. Or, it's crazy to see this old dude being worshipped as the most cool person on earth when I don't think that's the coolest person on earth. I think Neil Armstrong's one of the coolest people on earth, or Buzz Aldrin, or Chuck
We got a
Yeager.
picture
There
of
we got
Buzz.
Buzz.
Yeager. Right there, yeah.
Yeager. Yeah,
got Buzz
we
right
got Buzz
there.
right there. Signed Buzz Aldrin.
Exactly.
pick.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just told, worship this. Sorry, ain't my God. Ain't my God. And so now they're trying to deplatform him, and this is what's happening. The stuff in the news is accurate about the rebellion at Spotify in New York.
Oh, I believe it.
Yeah.
It's fucking garbage.
Where they do the ads and all this stuff, but the technical is in Stockholm. There's not a problem there. But they're actually behind the scenes, from people I've talked to, actually trying to get Joe off, period. I mean, these SJWs will destroy any organization they're part of, and that's why the left And the Chi-Coms want SJWs in the military and want all this, radical race theory that America sucks and George Washington sucks and white people are bad to destroy unit cohesion that no foreign army could do.
Jared, have you heard about the radical race theory stuff that's going on in the military right now? Do you want to go through that? Because
I haven't.
you talked about it recently, so I want to.
And for the audience, also clarify what an SJW is.
Social justice warrior.
Okay, great, because there's a lot of people that don't know what that is.
And they call themselves this.
Right.
They're warriors.
Correct.
And you laugh at them and go, you got green hair and all this, but they go wreck companies. They wreck systems. They wreck militaries. They wreck everything. They wreck hospitals.
It's essentially espionage. It's espionage.
It's inside
That's exactly what it
espionage,
is.
yeah.
They sow dissension. They run around and talk crap. They say it's like communists using unions. Unions were good at a certain point, but then they became communist tools to take stuff over and wreck it.
Well, same thing with BLM, though, right? The idea of BLM makes a lot of sense. Most people agree that, of course Black lives matter.
Yeah.
But this organization that's espousing Marxist ideology and trying to attack the fundamentals of capitalism in America, that's not okay. We're not.
And they
gonna-
say, we
but then
wanna-
but then you say fuck BLM, and you're like, oh, you hate black people. No, I hate Marxism, bitch.
Well, it's exactly what the Attorney
fuck?
General said. You're absolutely right. He said George Soros and powerful money have taken 3 Marxist black ladies. The whole group's almost white, like 98%, and then they use them as a shield or a prop. And then, like you said, abolish the U.S. military, abolish the police, abolish the U.S. government. America is an empire and imperialist. Abolish the nuclear family. And the most important thing is trans black men. So this is a group saying we represent black men. We don't want you to have families. That's how you destroy any group. And we want your balls. Imagine if alien spaceship landed and said, give us your men, give us your balls, don't have kids anymore. You'd say, you're aliens here to get rid of our species. I mean, get rid of capitalism, get rid of your testicles, get rid of your family. Sounds like my enemy.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's
sounds
actually
like an enemy.
happening. It is actually happening. We talk about it all the time on this show, where the demasculinization of society or the pussification of society is here. They want us
I know
all
we're taping this, but I'm actually having heart palpitations I never have. Lord Vader is in danger. Trump has been air vac to Chicago.
Yeah.
But he's in danger from the damn treatments, man.
He's not been air vac to Chicago,
Fake
by the way.
news.
There was a hoax. Fake news.
Yeah.
Yes!
Fake news.
I love it! Yeah!
Trump came on last night.
You didn't know.
I don't think it wasn't a hoax so much as it was an opportunity to trick people into looking at dicks.
Yes.
Because if you click the link, it's just
Okay.
dicks.
It's a black guy's dick.
Yeah.
It's a
I
black
didn't know
guy's
you
dick.
guys said that we go live here.
No, but Trump actually.
Now I need alcohol.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
Go to the liquor store. It's Sunday.
Danny,
What do you
go. There's some beers and everything in there. Danny Warsnop's here too. We'll have him on at the end of the show.
Jesus Christ.
Grab some beers.
He's got some right there.
Yeah, there's White Claws
help
right
yourself. We got some beers.
You ever
in there.
had White
Grab
Claw
a
before?
I've
six-pack
had White
of beers.
Claw.
Not a fan then?
No, when you've had like 3 cases of it and had that, we're all on the ground like a fish, kind of ruins it for you. Like at the beach.
That's kind of how I live every day of my
You
life.
forget you're
though.
laying out. You're like purple.
Oh, yeah.
You're stumbling into the beach house. You've had 3 cases of White Claw.
Really glad to hear you're on the booze again, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm back, baby.
Proud of you.
Back. Last time I was on, I was 30 pounds lighter.
Yeah.
We just switch.
Yeah.
I have to
Thank
go
you.
until March 6th without
sir.
it.
Really?
Why?
Yeah, because Batty, donut operator in Logan, made a bet that if I do it, they have to make a documentary about how great I am.
All the way to
good.
March 6th.
I would do that.
That's terrible.
Oh,
That's 6 months.
No, I
6
wouldn't do
months.
that long.
By the way,
I'd do 3
I'm
months.
getting my
I
documentary.
did 4 months.
Yeah.
First time in many years. This is actually a prop. Like Bill Clinton smoked marijuana, he didn't inhale. This is not actually beer.
No, this,
I'm tasting it, but I'm not swallowing it.
yeah, we had them fill these with water. Actually,
Man, that's some good beer.
it's water and vitamins.
Yeah.
That's some good water.
We're in Austin.
It's
We're in
from.
Austin.
This is what? How do you say this? Kreisch
I want my
Bluff
documentary.
beer.
No.
It's
Yeah.
somewhere from around here, isn't it? You guys?
Yeah,
know?
yeah. It's
Have one.
local. It's local. It's great. Tear one off. Bring out a
He's
bunch,
a masculine
Sander.
man, but he's drinking the.
Bring out those
he's
Twisted
drinking
X.
the panty dropper
Bring out the
over
Twisted
there.
X
It
brewery
works.
too.
Get
Yeah.
you drunk.
So back to the military. What were you saying about the military?
Radical
Dan?
race theory?
Yes. What is the radical race? Because I have not heard this.
Radical race theory is basically like white people are bad. Here's how to manage your white privilege within the military is essentially what it is. But it goes back, like he was saying, to attacking the forefathers of the country, basically. Because you want to establish that America was evil from the get-go. That's the whole point. It has nothing to do with reality. Like everybody was a
Because it's your birthright.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you're getting the birthright of all these badasses before us. You can be part of that now. They want you to reject your power.
reject
Gotcha.
reject white supremacy. Look, it's not white supremacy. Things go in the favor of white people because people vote their interests, and 70% of the country is white sometimes.
But
This is the
listen,
way it works,
everybody's great, but let's just
I mean,
say
it's
it.
just numbers.
Everybody's trying to get into European countries because we built some cool stuff. And we love everybody, and we have the Christian ethos. They don't let you move into African countries if you're white. They don't let you move into Japan if you're, take over. We're actually an open society, and they're using our strength against us. We have to recognize that.
Well, here in America, like, look, if you go to Canada, by the way, somebody has to sign a document for you. They have to sponsor you for 10 years, that they're financially responsible for you for 10 years after you immigrate there. That's what it requires to get into Canada. And nobody wants to do that. Let's be real. Because if people wanted to go to Canada, all these people from the last 10 elections that said that they were leaving the country to go to Canada,
if none of them
ever move. And to get into America, all you got to do is have a sob story credible enough to fool a government employee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And let's go further, because what he's saying is totally true. I knew they were doing radical, race theory garbage at the universities.
What's that guy's name? Captain Siza. Hold on, let me look him up.
There's a bunch of these guys. But I actually read what Trump banned a month ago, and then the Pentagon said, no, we're still doing it. Well, the Secretary of Defense should be fired right then.
Critical race theory. That's
critical
it.
race
Yes,
theory,
critical
yeah.
race. Sorry.
And I'll call it radical, because it is radical, but
it is.
This particular thing is called critical race theory. But in the actual thing that the military's taught, 13-week course, number one, you shouldn't be doing it for 13 weeks. You ought to be learning, other things. Cyber command, guns, communications, public relations, whatever you're trying to learn to promote America. It actually says, America is bad. White people are inherently bad. I mean, it is like what the Nazis would teach, but inverted.
Gotcha. And
it's like Nazi ideology pushed by Marxists. The three women are all witches. I swear to God. They do black magic rituals on TV. They call for the blood of police on TV in public rituals to give them power to overthrow the evil white patriarchal America. And they say we are Marxist-Leninist, and then George Soros has given them $1 billion. He gave $220 million this last month.
Yeah, because that was going to be my next question: is who started it, and do we know who they are?
It's George Soros, who's overthrown over 20 countries.
Okay, and he's the one that's funding all of this.
Absolutely, and then Newt Gingrich went on Fox News and said it, and they cut him off.
They cut him. Yeah, remember? He's
Yeah.
there's no reason to bring him up right now. He's like, well, are we just not gonna call the pot or the kettle?
And that's what's frustrating is you can type in George Soros gives 200 million plus. Check and see. Is it 220, 230? 220 is my memory. He brags. He does it. He bragged on Fareed Zakaria 6 years ago. I overthrew Ukraine with $5 billion Obama gave me.
220.
220.
That was right, 220. And he's on, and then I went, Media Matters. Jones claims Soros involved in overthrowing Ukraine. And they shot cops. They played Catholics off against Orthodox. So just like they play black off against white, they choose a division, divide and conquer. You know about that in the military. And they play them off against each other, and that's all Soros does. So they use anthropologists and sociology to go in. They'll play like Tutsis off against Hutus in Rwanda, and then have them kill each other. Or they'll have black against white, Catholic against Orthodox. And they're the same damn people. They live next to each other, but they'll manipulate that, spend billions on advertising, showing
Messaging,
bad that both groups did, and then have them all kill each other.
And
Well,
so
look, that's one of the things that is QAnon talks about a lot, by the way, is using the media to not just, when I say the media, I don't mean the news. I mean
Using
actual
everything.
television programming. Yes. All these artists, musicians, everything, to speak a certain message, right? And it, like you said, divide and conquer. Now, if somebody's trying to divide you, they're trying to do what to you?
Conquer you.
Right? Like they're trying to conquer you.
Trying to make you
One
angry.
thing follows.
They're gonna weaken.
One thing follows the other one.
Yeah.
So if somebody's trying to divide you, if you see division going on, someone started it, and that someone had a plan, right? So who the fuck started it, and what's their plan exactly? You can see what their plan is: disruption, so they can make money while they turn everybody else socialist. Because the natural end to socialism is communism, right? You turn everything socialist, all the oligarchs fucking make it communist. Every single time in human history, that's how it works. So what the fuck are we doing here, man?
China has oligarchs running it. Russia still has oligarchs running it. Once you go communist, you buy everybody off for pennies on the dollar. The public now gets 10% of GDP instead of 90%. And that's why it's all the Jeff Bezoses and all the ultra rich that are funding Black Lives Matter. Right. And because they're sitting offshore tax exempt laughing while blue collar white people and black people kill each other.
Yeah, and they don't care at the end of the day.
Absolutely right, though. That's right.
And so my I guess the overall question, going back to Joe Rogan, is so these SJWs and everything else, they're controlling Spotify and his content and everything else.
I don't know what Joe told you guys. You were over at his place last week. He called me when you guys were over there, and I missed the call. But I mean, Joe told me all this stuff that says you go ahead and tell people, and then creates an issue. I don't want to get Joe in trouble.
Not at all. Look, we're fans of Joe Rogan.
No, I know you're not trying to.
But everybody loves you as well, and we're trying
I don't
to
dodge questions about me. It's just with the Joe thing. Let me just put it to you this way. Joe legitimately called me excited. Like 3 months ago, he says, I'm closing on the house next week. I'm going to be out there with my family, blah, blah, we got to hang out. I'm really excited. I'm sick of YouTube censoring me. I have it in the contract that you specifically can come on anybody else I want, and I don't have to worry about it. I said, that's great, bro. I'm really excited about this. He goes, and I said, what can I talk about? He goes, well, write notes. So I wrote notes. I went on air. It became a big national news issue. They were attacking the company's stock and stuff because of me. It started the employees in the rebellion. So that's why I'm trying, that went on. And so I went, okay, I exaggerated a little. I was just excited, which I did exaggerate some. And then, because I'm like, hey, Joe's going to take them on and fuck the, can I say that on here?
Yeah,
fuck them.
Of course.
He's like, fuck these censors and fuck them.
Right.
I'm so sick of these comedy clubs. I'm so sick of them. His big rant was about comedy. It was like 30 minutes. He's like, man, they're censoring all over the country. And, once I have a comedy club, I'm going to have you up there. Not going to censor shit. And fuck that lady that blocked you that time, trying to bring you up on stage and stuff's happening behind the scenes. And I'm like, can I talk about it? He said, yeah, talk about it. And then they make a big deal about it. They misrepresent it. And so he wasn't lying when he said, those episodes will be back up. They're telling him, oh, it's a glitch. It'll be back up like a month ago.
Right.
And then it's not. He goes, okay,
Yeah.
there's a problem inside. They have a rebellion, but don't make a big deal about it. Don't say anything. And then once it's in the news, can I talk? He goes, oh, yeah, I say it. It's even worse than. But then now I'm like not saying what he told me, even though he said I could say it because I don't want to get him in trouble. Yeah. But basically what you've seen in the news is accurate, except it's even worse. But finally the CEO stood up and said, fuck you. We have free speech. My God, leave Joe Rogan alone, because he gets, the more he feeds the. Rudyard Kipling talked about paying off a pirate. And the more you pay them off, the more they want. So you can't pay a pirate off. You can't negotiate with terrorists. And SJWs are foreign-funded, multinational pirates who don't even know what they're doing. They're just running around, stirring up power, getting a little bit of power now because they're helping bring down the country. This is all industrial sabotage, like he said. This is espionage.
Yeah.
Winston Churchill said, appeasement is feeding the crocodile hoping he eats you last. Right?
Yeah.
And 2 words to that, fuck and that. Fuck that. In that order. Fuck that.
Exactly.
That's not the American spirit.
No. And at some point, we've
What
got
made us
to
great
take a
was saying,
stand.
fuck you.
Yes. Yeah.
Fuck you. You want to fucking kill me? Let's go.
Yeah.
I'm not getting on my goddamn knees, you piece of shit.
Yeah. And that's
Carlos
what we need
Zapata said
more
it,
of right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
That's what we need more of right now.
Yeah.
Because right now, the freedom of speech and the fucking suppression of the press and the media and these goddamn social media outlets like Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that shit.
They're manipulating everything.
Yes.
Hey, why don't they start paying some
Everything.
fucking taxes before they get a voice in government? How about that?
Yeah.
It's
Because
all.
Amazon got a $130 million fucking tax refund last year, paid $0 in federal taxes despite not making but profiting $11 billion.
They got $32 billion in the
subsidies,
in the bailout money.
Yeah. I mean, get
By the way,
fucked.
we applied for it because it hit us all this a lot, to where we were not even making any profit. And of course, they're like, "Oh no, you're not organized. We have the right law firm, everything. Oh, we'll have to get in your books. By the way, the money's already been spent.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah.
That's our taxpayer money. Can't even get it.
No, of course not. And you never.
Jeff Bezos, $32 billion.
Yeah. You're fine, Jeff. But he owns the Washington Post, so he can say whatever he wants.
$132 billion. Jamie.
Yeah, exactly, right? We're working on a Jamie who, right now we have Giorgio, our producer,
Doing great.
who's extremely overworked. We just moved here, so we
Hey,
are
this
hiring
is-
a
So listen to
producer.
this. In
We're hiring
2019,
one.
in 2019, Amazon made $280.5 billion
Yeah.
in 2019, and they got a $162 million refund.
Yeah.
Or no, I'm sorry. They had a $162 million tax bill. They paid $0 in taxes. Now, how is that possible?
Yeah, no, Jeff Bezos pays less taxes than I do.
Yeah.
Because if you employ people and are set up normal, but if you're a globalist, you don't pay taxes.
No, not
Right.
at all.
But he's the one that supports Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
He said, without apology, here's the headline. How much Jeff Bezos gets biggest cut of coronavirus aid money or bailout package, something like that.
Right. Look, I'm not surprised by that,
I
are
got a
you?
computer right here.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that, are you?
By what exactly?
Bezos
I'm not.
getting all that money?
not
Like,
surprised at
dude,
all.
this is going to keep going on. Like,
Look, I say this all the time. I actually said it on mine and Brink's show the other day about how I think Walter Cronkite ruined journalism in America. Like, he's a very well-respected guy. What he did technically was right. By taking a position on Vietnam, he was right to do that technically. But for the country,
Started editorializing.
for the country, it was wrong. It was
Yeah.
wrong to do that. Other people could have gotten us out of Vietnam. You didn't have to do it, you mustache fuck. Now everybody thinks they have to have a fucking political leaning to be a news person. That's not true. You shouldn't even fucking vote, or at least not let people know how you vote if you're a fucking
No, I
journalist.
agree.
Ever. Like, your job is to fucking find out what's real and tell everybody else because we're too busy to go find it for ourselves. Your job is to go find the truth and report it. The end. Don't editorialize. Don't analyze. Don't fucking give me your opinion. I don't want to hear any of that shit. And a guy that's one of the most respected journalists of all time, fucked it up for everybody, right?
Yeah.
And nobody ever talks about it. We should do a documentary about how Walter Cronkite's kind of a cunt.
Absolutely. Yeah. Bezos was the biggest recipient of coronavirus bailout money, and he made $132 billion extra since then.
Oh, God.
Well, he lost half his net worth to his ex-wife, and has already made that money up in less than a year.
Yeah.
She's the richest woman in the world now?
Until she gives some of it away. I think she's got, $71 billion, something like that?
Something like that. Something crazy. I want to move on to Trump and Melania getting coronavirus. Obviously, since you're on the show, we have to ask you, is there a conspiracy theory behind this?
Well, look, I'm all about therapeutics. So, and I'm all about if they've got some nanotech antibody that keeps me from getting lung cancer and it works, give it to me.
Well, first of all, do you think he has it?
Well,
that is a question that Michael Moore said. I don't believe that he does have it. I believe he's doing it for sympathy.
Here's what I think. I think they could have used this as a move to take it away from Biden.
So he couldn't use it to get out of
yeah,
the
because
last
remember
debate?
we made this. We all talked about this prediction that hey, Joe's going to try and skirt out of the freaking the last debate by saying, oh, he was exposed, and then he goes on lockdown, and then he has it. We don't hear from him, and then the election has to happen with no words from that side of the camp.
Exactly. So Alex, to catch you up to speed, Jared on a show a few weeks ago said he predicted the Joe Biden campaign would come out and say he has coronavirus. So that way,
that was a month ago.
It was a month ago.
Yeah.
So that way he could bump it up, miss some of the debates.
I remember
and
seeing that.
else.
They got a lot of attention.
Yes, it did. It did. It was a huge episode for us, and everybody started getting on board with that theory. And then
maybe Trump hit him off at the pass.
We don't know.
I mean, that's a solid chess move right there.
Well, let me tell you,
if we do this right now,
this guy predicted that they'd off Ruth Bader Ginsburg right before to get the vote out and supercharge.
Yeah, remember last time you were on air in December.
Play that coming up.
Yeah, and we'll play that clip now, Giorgio. And then
I'll give you my take on Trump.
Yeah. Do you think RBG makes it out of the year 2020? And
no. If I had to bet on Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a.k.a. the Crypt Keeper's grandmother, I think that she will make the jump into hyperspace by the 6th month of 2020.
Okay, great. So in that 6th month, do you get into an Obama-type sitch where, was it Garlic, Marlon Garrick? Or
Merrick Garland.
There we go. Yeah. That's the weirdest fucking name of all time.
It's the worst name ever, yeah.
Ever. Are we in that situation where people try to hold up that seat?
They can't hold up for 4 years.
No, but if she dies in 6 months, like you said.
Oh, yeah, they're absolutely going to fucking.
Do you think they'll hold up that seat?
Absolutely, yes.
Yes, I think they're going to contest allowing the confirmation of the new person unless they nominate Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily against that. Like in the same way that in trying to impeach some guy in the last year of a presidency leading into a new presidential election is basically a political coup d'etat. I think that trying for a sitting what could potentially be a lame duck government nominating a new Supreme Court justice, I think it's kind of the same. Like, I don't mind waiting. I think Trump's going to win anyways.
But, it is his power to do that.
Sure.
And I think the mandate is to not let the left run everything. So I think Trump has to, if he needs to help her, send in the Delta Force. That's a joke. It's a joke. I want her to live 1 million years. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I predict she's going to live to the year 2090 billion.
Darker follow-up here. Do you think the Democrats actually, if things get desperate enough, do you think she gets Clinton's side right around October? So that way they've at least got one more thing to say, hey, man, you've got to go out and vote.
Don't give them ideas. That is diabolical. That'll make the left really riot and freak out and really show up at the polls and have a way to hold it up for sure. Because
wouldn't that be?
I'm going to revise it. I think it's the October surprise. I think the deep state caps Ruth Bader Ginsburg if she can hold on October 37th, which I know doesn't exist.
It doesn't. It didn't work with Scalia though.
No, it didn't actually. Yeah,
like October 37th is election day.
Yeah. October 37th. We're 321. 321. I like how you have that up inside your studio. So what do you think it is with Trump now? Is the coronavirus real? It appears to be. I saw the video he released yesterday. He didn't have a spray tan. He actually looked great. But he was inside the Walter Reed Hospital, and he was signing documents, and then he released a 4.5-minute video. It seems like he probably does have coronavirus, and so does Melania. That would be a really hard thing to fake in this day and age right now.
Well, that's it. We're really supercomputers, and so we're able to tell if something's fake or something's real. Kind of like back during the election 4 years ago, I saw this Hillary ad with pieces of dust going through the air and like perfect shots of children. And I said, that's a staged infomercial. That wasn't a real town hall. And it came out after the election that they shot over 3 days. It was fake. Well, you're a filmmaker, but the average citizen just doesn't know why they know. They go, that's fake. When you look at Trump, he's lost. I would guess he's probably in the latter stages of it. He probably had it 2 weeks ago. Because anybody gets the flu or pneumonia like that, you lose a lot of weight.
Yeah, maybe. And it seems like just based on the reports we're reading over the last 18 hours or so, it seems like he may have had the first inkling or positive test Wednesday and not Friday.
Wednesday, correct.
Well, probably even before that, but he wanted to. The issue is then he got a little scared when he got more sick on Friday. I know Trump, people that know him well. There's not Machiavellian stuff going, man. It's like straight on. That's why foreign leaders like make peace deals. That's how he's getting peace deals in the Middle East. I mean, he freaking does what he says.
Yeah.
I mean, like he's almost like autistic. Okay. I mean, Trump's like straight up. And he certainly does not sit there with people and play games. It's the opposite. He has all these lawyers trying to set him up, all these operatives. They can't do it because it's all completely straight up. He walked into the CIA the day of the inauguration and said, I just trust all you. You just give me the targets and start killing people. A lot of people were in the room. There was like 100 people in there. I mean, maybe that's dangerous, but it's like with him, it's like completely pragmatic, completely. I trust the military. I trust whatever. He just said, do it, which actually was kind of frightening. But with Trump,
yeah, but it works in the Middle East though, because look, Jared knows we've been to the Middle East quite a bit, and you can't ask people to do things nicely over there.
Yeah.
You have to yell and then slap them sometimes, like literally open hand slapping them in the face.
they only take power as respect.
It's part. Yeah, exactly. They do not respect this fucking empathy nonsense. That I mean, look, it's a good part of American culture, but they just don't do that.
It's Stone Age.
And the way it is Stone Age. Yeah, it's the 8th century, and the way Trump talks to them has brought 3 peace deals between Arab nations and Israel for the first time in 50 goddamn years.
Because there's not
You know what I mean?
Machiavellian, sneaky, double deals. It's just like, this is what we're doing.
Right.
But anyways, getting back to that, I've really studied this thing with Trump. And I said back in March, I said, okay, let's start here. This is a big subject. This is coronavirus, this is everything. What the media does is they soundbite it out, they misrepresent what I've said. But this is the real top science, the real top info. You guys could get Dr. Francis Boyle on with you. He wrote the U.S. Biological Weapons Treaty that became the world law and all that. He said on my show in January, he said it's gain of function. It's a 5-part chimera, genetically engineered. It is a vaccine, live virus for a whole class of bioweapons that China and others have produced. They want the cure to it. Well, the simulant itself, though, can still kill you, even though it's a vaccine, because it was an experimental vaccine. Here's what's crazy. We have thousands of Journal of Medicine and Journal of Science and everything. We can spend 20 hours going back to 2012, 13, 14, 15 going, Chapel Hill is developing a 5-stage chimera SARS coronavirus as a super vaccine, but the vaccine's live, and if the test subjects, if this gets out, it could kill everybody, because to know how to cure it, you got to actually create it. So it became illegal because the scientists revolted. There was a big issue in Congress. So Obama in 2015, under Fauci, who was heading NIH then too, he's 40-something years.
He's been in there for a while, yeah.
He goes back and forth, NIH, CDC, and revolving door into these corporations where he makes the money. So they move everything over to the Wuhan lab. This is all on record. What's incredible is they hide the minutia. And the number one funder of the Wuhan lab was these Bill Gates subsidiaries. Yeah. And Fauci was directing it. And guess where Facebook already had, starting 2 years ago, their global science fact-checking division that decides what's real science and what isn't. Guess where it was based?
China?
Wuhan.
Oh, yeah.
The director of the virology operation is also the Facebook fact-checker. Look this up. So they've got informational control. Gates is obviously the shadowy intelligence operative with all this big robber baron foundation money, and he's building the global government. They've decided to use medical systems to do it, but I'm digressing. The virus is real in that it is a 5 virus, and they've scanned this. All the big scientists, the discoverer of HIV, all of them already knew this before. Soon as with CRISPR editing, they scanned it. So just like in Blade Runner, that's fiction, this is real. Because Blade Runner supposedly, set a few years ago.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this snake made by such and such. They even put serial numbers now in the genetically engineered DNA. Look that up. Biotech firms now putting serial numbers in the DNA.
Well, that's how you make explosives, by the way. So if you get a brick of Semtex or C4, there are these little tiny pieces of paper with a lot number on it, right?
Yes.
There's nothing new. Genetic coding works the same way.
Yeah.
Exactly. Just like going back 30 years ago, they were worried about printers and having fake notes. So all the printers put secret coding where it was bought and where they can track back to you.
So clearly, this was made in a lab. This was not a guy who ate a bat at a wet market. That's what we're saying, right? Because
Yes,
that's what
and-
we've said on our show.
What are the chances that all of a sudden, from a non-viral event, one of the most viral events we've ever seen happens, right? Look, we can talk about how the survivability rates.
They clearly released it.
Yeah, clearly. The survivability rates for COVID are really high, but the infection rate is also really high, right? I mean, it's easy to spread.
Oh, this is a test.
I think so.
Yeah.
He's been saying this for 2 years, by the way. He's literally been saying this on our show for 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, tell us.
Well, it's just like that's what I said this because I was in North Carolina with them when it broke out, and we had a congressman with us, and he was essentially like, "You need to go home tomorrow.
Yeah.
This is about to get wild."
Yeah.
And from
Give
there,
him the 6. Take the whole thing.
so that I was like,
One more water.
you know, when you look at
He's parched.
when you look at this, like I honestly think this was a trial run. This was a rock drill.
Well, if
This
it's a
was
rock drill, then
okay,
they
what-
got the results they wanted, right?
Yeah, they're looking
Everybody's
at
compliant.
how fast-
People are driving in their car with a fucking mask on right
Yeah.
now.
How fast
Alone.
is compliance?
Yep.
How how far can we push for compliance? And we pushed as far as we possibly could. We let
Right.
the government tell us what an essential business is, rather than the government tell us what standard
Right.
to have your doors open
Well,
is.
luckily
That
the-
makes no fucking
luckily
sense.
Martial law template, yeah.
Luckily, the courts have rejected it. Pennsylvania
Yeah, it's
federal
just-
court, Michigan federal, or
Just-
Florida,
Michigan's a big
Michigan
one.
Supreme Court has already told Whitmer to get fucked.
Michigan said
Yeah.
Friday
Yeah.
it's a form of martial law,
Yeah.
and the executive branch gaining all powers unto itself.
And she got the Supreme
Imagine
Court
that.
struck her down, by the way.
Yeah, the Michigan Supreme Court. Imagine that. All these belly aching, pearl clutching assholes in the left for the last 3.5 years or 4 years about Trump. Oh, he's gonna make himself a king and all this shit. But every time there's a power grab, it never comes for the right.
No.
Why would the party that its base wants liberty above all else, above safety, above anything? How would a power grab even work from that side? It doesn't make any sense.
The argument is so mind-numbing because I'm from the Pacific Northwest, so I have a lot of really dumb friends still out today. And the thing is they blame the president for the handling of the virus, and I'm like, he left it in states' hands. Like, are you that dumb?
constitutional.
Like, what do
Yeah.
you want?
It's the 10th
What do you-
Amendment, man.
Yeah, because if he came out with a federal mandate in March, everybody would bitch, just like they
did
bitched
the
when
few
he stopped.
things- the few things he did about
The travel
banning
ban.
Chinese
Yeah,
flights.
yeah.
Because he saw
Everybody
China,
bitched.
He saw China
They call it
banning
racist,
domestic flights, but saying they can only fly here. He went, whoa. That's when I was like, shut down their flights when they had their flights shut down, but not to us.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay.
And at the same time, by the way,
Biden was fine with it.
But at the same time, Nancy Pelosi's walking through Chinatown in San Francisco with no mask. We're like, Trump's
come out.
Trump's a racist.
That's
Come
in
see
late
Chinatown.
February.
But
Yeah.
Biden was fine with it. He was like, oh, yeah, come on
Yeah.
in. You're a racist. You're a xenophobe.
Yeah.
And he was like, these flights should be coming in. No, the fuck they shouldn't have been
No.
coming in.
Well, let me try to quantify, because there's a lot of questions, a lot of points there. What he said is absolutely on target. And I'll just try to say it short and sweet because there's so many rabbit trails and so much backup info on all this. We know that they've been obsessed with SARS, weaponizing the common cold, and they get around bioweapons laws. All major governments do, whether it's the Russians, the U.S., China, the British, the French, the South Africans are big in it. They all get around it by saying we're studying possible threats. And so to have the cure to a deadly pathogen, you've got to test it on animals, and then if you can get volunteers tested on humans, and China does it on prisoners in these facilities, these black sites, that's come out. And so then they take that knowledge back to the Wuhan lab. That's like the big dirty place, the big red light district of the world to do illegal stuff of every type. China allows it to go on. At a facility it's really like level 2, they say, where they should be doing this underground, like a science fiction movie.
With a flash chamber, which means if anything goes wrong, you flip a button and the whole thing sets on fire underground.
Right.
That's how you have to do that kind of experimentation. I
It's
know
above level 4.
It sucks. It sucks for people that are there, but if 100 or 200 or 1,000 people die, that's better than 200,000. It's better than millions.
Yeah.
Right?
So what was the mindset of China?
They're doing this. This facility just has like windows.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But what's the mindset of China the day you want to release this? Is that all planned clearly
Well,
on
let me
a
lay
day?
it out.
And, yeah.
Well, exactly.
Yeah.
And then to his point, because this is key. Hong Kong is winning. they're separating. The Chinese built a huge bridge there. They say they're invading. Troops are coming in. The people are defeating the troops in hand-to-hand combat. Everyone's turning against them. They don't know what to do. Already, Trump's impeachment's starting to fail. They know they don't have the votes a month before. Suddenly, this virus gets released. Then China, and then there's been big reports come out by investigative journalists that they did stage videos of people falling down. They did stage videos of arrests and welding people in to create a Day of the Dead scenario for the UN to then say, a few months after Trump said lockdown, they said, okay, lock everything down, to then blame it on the United States, then blame it on Trump and keep us locked down well after China has opened back up. And then all these authoritarian regimes, whether it's Australia, whether it's Canada, you name it, they continue to use the lockdown as a larger power grab. And then his point about, I was saying months and months and months ago that, look, it's obvious that, because we know this virus is a vaccine. This virus is the answer to a super deadly class of weaponized airborne stuff that will kill 90+% of people that get it. But even the vaccine for something like that wasn't basically ready, and even this spreads really good, has great gain of function, has the HIV delivery system.
Wait, you're saying that COVID-19 is a vaccine delivery system to cure SARS in general? Is that what you're saying?
Well, they were studying a weaker pathogen to be able to put into a live vaccine to handle a whole class of things. And because of the first big Indian Research Institute came out in February, and they had a CRISPR gene editor, they scanned it and they said, it has P shuttle gene injection points. It's like Frankenstein.
Right.
It's like, one arm's this. I mean, it's all right there. They know what it is. They know it's synthetic. They know it's been made. And then talking to all these scientists and experts, they said they were studying vaccines, live vaccines there, and that this was probably a stronger version of that, is what it looks like, is to be a multivariate vaccine for a whole bunch of stuff. And the big tell is it has the HIV delivery system, not HIV, but the delivery system through the mucous membrane. It has the HIV virus welded onto it.
That's been used before for cancer treatments as well. The HIV delivery system, that's legit for real. And so COVID is SARS, right? It's a novel version of SARS.
Can weed cure it, by the way?
Cure HIV?
Yeah. Because if
can
not,
weed?
Giorgio is asking you to stop clicking your weed pen here for the audio.
Yeah, so
Look at Magic Johnson. The answer is yes.
Yeah, well, look, if you're rich enough, you can beat AIDS. I've said that before.
Yeah, they just put white blood cells back into it.
Yeah, it's Magic, Greg Louganis. If you win the Olympics, you can also beat
helps,
AIDS. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that.
Well, what happens is that after the virus runs through you and kills all your T lymphocytes, white blood cells, you can do bone transplants, bone marrow. They can blood transfusions.
Yeah,
and then people just come back.
Yeah, absolutely. And to your point,
so
Dan,
SARS, the death rate, the mortality rate for the SARS that we know from before, right, before COVID-19, is somewhere between 4 and 7%. That's way higher. The most at-risk group for COVID-19 is about maybe 5.5%, and that's like 70 plus already infirmed, right? It's 5.5%. For us, it's like our survivability rate is 99.97%, I think.
That's conservative. And of course, that's usually they're 85 or older with multiple comorbidities.
Right. Yeah, and
diabetes, heart attack, cancer.
So the idea that they would have been developing COVID-19 or what became COVID-19 as a potential vaccine because it's much more viral than the standard SARS and it's much less deadly, that kind of does make sense.
That's what the scientists tell me. I'm not the scientist. That's what they tell me.
Yeah.
They said it has incredible gain of function to give people immunity during a weapons release of weaponized SARS, which wouldn't kill 5%, as he's saying accurately, 30, 40. And they added it to mousepox. I'm getting chills. 98% kill rate, even in healthy people. If you get mousepox and you're able to have it replicate with all these other viruses added, remember, it's all added together, you're dead.
So what is the end game is my question. Is it biowarfare? What is China's end game by creating all
Let's
of this?
talk about who's involved. But as you said, I came out according to the experts I talked to, the real deal, and I said, this is a vaccine. It still wasn't ready. It's very dangerous. They knew it would spread in everyone. They knew it would create the crisis. It would give them the model for the contact tracing. It would give them the model for the apps in your phones to move around. It'll bring in the global social credit score that the UN wants. And to the bureaucrats, they're all agreeing with it because they know it's really a drill. Bill Gates, 1 month after I had all these scientists on, comes out on TV. You can pull this up, and he says, it was on Colbert. He goes, really, this is just a drill. The terrorists are going to release something far worse. They've already got it. And so this is just a drill for us to give you a vaccine so the next weapon doesn't kill you. And so I'm sitting there getting chills when I've been told this by Boyle, who obviously says he has sources. He doesn't say it's so classified. He has all the people in the UN, all of it. And these other, he knew this in He was going public in late January with everything that happened. And so he said, if you're old, if you have pre-existing conditions, if you are immune system suppressed, if you don't have enough zinc and other vitamins and minerals, it's very deadly to you because you're in that group. It kills old people that are infirm and don't have good absorption in their gut. But he said for everybody else, it's not an issue. And everything he said has been proven true. And so the answer is yes, it's real, but the overblownness of keeping us locked down is the hoax, because what it really gave us is herd immunity. And that's why that's what this really, we were just all vaccinated with a live virus that also kills people that don't have enough immune system.
Well, people die from all vaccinations, right? Not all, I'm sorry. But anything.
Almost all vaccines have some deaths.
They have some
Correct.
deaths,
Yeah.
right? It's not. It's usually a nominal
You're
amount.
always going to have outliers.
Yeah, to be honest, 0.03% seems like a nominal amount to me.
This was a giant forced inoculation is the real consensus.
Yeah. And
So wait, you're so in this sense, even if you, I mean, it's a coarse thing to say. It's kind of weird. It's kind of fucked up. But maybe China was the good guy here.
Well, let's talk about who China
You know what I
is.
mean?
David Rockefeller wrote when Mao Zedong died in the mid-'70s, articles. Just type in David Rockefeller praises Mao Zedong. You'll read 2 articles in the New York Times praising all the people that were killed, praising Mao, what he did. So this special group of globalists want to use China to set up a model to beat the American system. If you look at the British 200 years ago, they go, we can't beat the American system. They had lords and ladies. You had to go through them to get a job. Everything was centralized. It wasn't real capitalism. It was crony capitalism. America became more real capitalism. So they talked about we can't compete with America. And so the globalists went and set up Mao Zedong in 49. They kicked Chiang Kai-shek out. They wiped out the U.S. Army officers that were there actually fighting against Mao. That's what the John Birch Society got founded out of. And they did all of this and then basically set China up to prove that authoritarianism works better than America. And so that's why they gave them one-sided trade deals, and that's why they shipped all the jobs over there, and that's why they gave them all the computer secrets and all the weapon secrets, was so authoritarianism could finally defeat America. And that's why the CFR said it's the Chinese century, the communist Chinese century. So the whole model has been preparing us to merge with communist China. The Carnegie Endowment after World War II said, our main mission is to merge the U.S. with the Soviet Union. But when the Soviet Union started falling apart, they said, no, the plan of China, that's who we're going to be merged with in the future. And so China is who we're supposed to marry.
we're close, by the way.
Exactly.
They've taken over Hollywood. They've taken over media.
They own 4 of the 8 studios.
All
right?
the U.S.
Yeah.
state.
All-
U.S. state.
New York real estate, California real estate. I mean, they own
Bay Area
a lot of it
especially, yeah.
behind the scenes. Alibaba, everything else. Like Alibaba is our version of Amazon. To me, and we said this on our show, it is real convenient that you have a disease that only kills people who are old, who have some form of respiratory problem that can't really work as hard as they need them to, and you're killing off a segment of the population obese that aren't going to give you the best
Useless
performance.
eaters is what the UN calls them.
Correct. Yes.
No, dead on. And exactly. Pull up Why the Future Doesn't Need Us, or pull up The Case for
Useless
Killing Granny.
eaters.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bill Gates says, let's kill old people so we have more jobs. And so exactly, this they knew this vaccine, which was a live virus dialed down simulant. Well, it's a simulant if you're 20 years old. It's not a simulant if you're 85 and had a heart attack and cancer. You're dead.
Yeah, and you're dead. And those are the people that can't work or contribute to society. So, of course, they would want to wipe them off. They're on the government teat at this point.
So
with,
is this
with Medicaid, Medicare?
Is this Logan's Run with Michael York then?
It is.
It feels
You know what I
like
mean?
it,
My
dude.
mom was in that movie.
It feels
no
like it. Was
way.
she really? Come on.
What did she do in the
What
movie?
did she do in the movie?
She's like one of those young blondes going by. They shot it in Dallas, and she worked at the Dallas Morning News.
Really?
That's hilarious. I didn't know that. That's one of my favorite movies because I hate old people.
Dan's infamous for it.
Carousel. But this is more like Soylent Green, though, because they sell it. We're going to kill the old people, and we're going to, give you forced inoculations through this outbreak. But really, at the end of the day, Bill Gates tried to keep his 94-year-old dad alive. At the end of that, they just like playing God and killing people.
Look, that theory's been out there. I'm on the fence with it because you look at him and you're like, there's no way there's people that are really going to do this, right? Like Bill Gates and Melinda Gates, are they really
But
this
then they
evil?
come out and admit a lot of it. And let's say this. Remember what you guys are doing. We're up here saying COVID-19 is real. I've said that from the start because the experts I had on that were proven right, who I've known for 15 years, they said it's real, but this is what it is. It's a vaccine that's been released on purpose or by accident, and blah, blah, blah. Here's what you should do. And then the media is like, Jones says vitamin D helps you. He's a scammer. Now Fauci says that. It's essential. You have to have it to live. And so all the thousands of medical doctors and scientists that have been censored off the internet, they have degrees, they have credibility. Why are they being censored for this story? So the real danger here is the power of the fear of the virus and the lockdown and the tracking apps and dividing society between the maskies and the not maskies and what kids are seeing. This is the big power grab. So you say, why did China do it? China's a client state of the big mega banks that put it in power. It's on a short leash. It can be toppled anytime the globalists want to, because it doesn't have strategic control of the rarest minerals. It's been given it by regulatory power and the World Trade Organization. But China started breaking its deal under Obama. That was the Eastern pivot to the Pacific pivot. And so there's already been an internal war. Then Obama, who's really a double agent of these guys, he leaked the operation of personnel management hack. He gave them 22 million names of the whole U.S. government, where everybody's going on, where the bodies are buried. And so there's a huge China faction. Remember the Washington Post 3 months ago had the headline, Xi Jinping must destroy Trump to save America. And they spray painted downtown, red stars saying, we love China, we love Xi Jinping. If you go to UT and the Maoist Confucian societies that are all the major universities that Trump shut down last year, those are actually Chinese intelligence operatives. We infiltrated one of their meetings. It wasn't hard to infiltrate. We knew somebody that was connected to them who looked like a meth head, so they let him in. It was like 300 people with a UT chairwoman, who's Chinese, by the way, at the time, up there on the stage talking about Mao and the takeover of America in one of the amphitheaters at UT.
Somebody has a video of that. Was that you or was that somebody else?
No, other people released it later. We didn't release it.
Gotcha.
We went in there, and we actually got contacted by the Army and by some other folks, and they said, what are you doing in these meetings? And we're like, well, we're there watching. Well, we're going to do something about it. Don't worry about that. We're going to close them up soon. And about a year later, sure enough, they shut them down.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is the communist Chinese, man.
By the way, he can't. If you got a source in that room, you can't release that video because they'll look back at security cameras and figure out exactly from the angle who your source is. You can't do it.
That's what
we had to report
when I saw it,
They got it released off UT security videos. How we did.
Yeah.
Got it.
And by the way, dissent is always really important, right? Because
I like this guy. This is what he's talking about.
Yeah,
I know.
That's why we paired the two of you guys together. You'll be besties.
It's mostly the weed. It's mostly
I'm
the
not
weed.
too smart, I'm just trying to get a buzz here.
It's the weed and White Claw mostly. The dissent is always important, right? Generally speaking, like you need dissent because we all get into our tight knit groups. We become more powerful or think we're smarter than everybody else, and then somebody's like, "Actually, you guys are fucked up." That's an important thing to be able to say. It's even more important in science. And now we're being told that dissent is un-American, it's unethical and immoral to dissent against this government-mandated science. That's incredible.
That is slavery. The definition of slavery.
It's insane.
If I said COVID-19 is a total hoax and totally fake, it's my right, even though I'm wrong. I never said that. So they silence me, then they misrepresent and say I'm calling it a hoax.
Yeah.
See how that works?
And they try to tie your fucking sense of morality and patriotism to believing the government and not dissenting against the government. Do you understand how problematic that is? That is how every fucking dictatorship starts. So all this hubbub, all this fucking belly aching about Trump being he's going to make himself king over the years. They're doing it this way. This is the way that actually works.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you try to come into a country like America and take it over, become a dictator in America without violence or with violence rather, you will never win that fight. Because every one of us has guns. Yep. Right? You have to convince people to trust the government blindly, and then fucking dissent is immoral. Like, oh, fuck, what if 12 old people die? Like, oh, shit.
And America sucks, and you're bad. Yeah. We're going to teach you how to be better now. So apologize and say you're bad.
Raise your fist.
Yeah.
Raise your fist.
Yeah. Say Black Lives Matter. Well, yeah, all lives matter. Whoa, you're dead.
Yeah.
You got to say what we say when we say it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is boot camp. But a commie boot camp. It's a giant open air. The model is Maoist re-education. When we went to those events, infiltrated them, I told people like 6 years ago, it's a Maoist takeover. It's a Maoist takeover. The blueprint is a Maoist takeover because for the globalists, China worked.
Yeah, so I think we're all on the same page here because a lot of the stuff that you say, we talk about on our show. We're not.
Even though Alex Jones is a total dirtbag. There you go.
Yeah.
Boom. For the
Right
censors.
for the censors.
For the censors.
For you too.
Jones is a discredited, lying, Hitlerian piece of filth.
Yes, and we're admitting he is a liar live on air, so do not censor this video.
Can you guys even spell Hitlerian? I know you can. You might be able to.
Hitlerian.
That's probably it, right?
I believe so.
I'll look it up on somebody else's computer. If we look it up on mine,
12.
The government's going to... Oh, it is 12.
12 is the answer for him. I want to switch gears here and talk about the debate. The presidential debate last week. That happened. What were your thoughts on the debate, Trump versus Biden, in all sincerity? Like, because look, we're Trump guys. I am. Dan's in the middle. What are you, Jared? You're
I'm annoyed.
Yeah, by the world. Me personally, I lean more conservative. But even when I watched that debate, was like, this is a fucking train wreck.
Well, I don't want to be gross here, but let's say Trump is the great ribeye steak on the plate, and then you've got like a dead rotting bird, and you've got a leech laying out. You don't want the steak. Even, if I was hungry, I kind of move them aside and check it's okay and start eating it. But most people are going to refuse it. Right. And so I was all excited. It was built up like I was about to see Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier.
That's what I thought too.
And man, like 30 minutes into it, because Trump was being ganged up on, and so Chris Wallace was being a jerk and a liar and a fraud. Biden was absolutely hopped up on stuff and out of his mind, and then Trump was trying to. That's what a fight looks like. It's not really that entertaining. He's interrupting because he knows he's ganged up on, so he's not going to let these guys do it. So yeah, train wreck inside a giant train wreck.
Yeah,
and it was super, and I felt empty and raped at the end of it.
So did I, and it made me.
I felt robbed of my time for sure.
Well, look, we were
Yeah.
live on air, so we did a live show, and it was awesome. For entertainment value, it was great, right? But for America and where we're headed, it was not, and it was like,
well, plus
holy
you know
shit.
both those guys are bad news. Biden's a Chi-Com agent. He's like, China needs to run every aspect of our lives. You seen that video?
Yeah.
If he's not, he's a useful idiot for sure.
Well, he took their money.
People call. Well, Hunter certainly did. People call Trump the useful idiot for the communist states over there, Russia or China, whichever one you would apply to him. But that's like the trade negotiations that have happened between him and China. That's not good for them long term.
No, Trump is kicking the hell out of Russia and China.
Yeah,
kicking the living snot out of them.
And it could
because
be,
it was all one-sided with China.
Yeah.
It's easy to beat them when it's all one-sided. All he had to do was here's America and here's China. All Trump did was like, right, and they're like screaming bloody murders. It's all rigged, man. China is propped up.
But Biden is either. I don't necessarily think he's complicit, but he's definitely too incompetent to fight that battle. Right?
Yeah, no, he's so arrogant and thinks he's a genius. And as long as you tell him, he dilutes himself and takes your money. Yeah, that money goes through his son to him.
Yeah, and he won't. He just won't admit, because it became a Republican talk. This is how stupid binary politics are in America. Because it became a Republican talking point that, hey, Russia and China, these traditionally communist countries, are trying to flex globally again for maybe the first time in a massive way since the Cold War. We need to do something about it. That was an accurate assessment. But because a Republican leader said it, it was like the Democrats automatically have to say no. Like, well, no, that's not true because Trump said it. What if it was fucking true?
They say Trump's a Russian agent when it's a lesser threat. China's good.
Yeah. So like, reality is reality. 1 + 1 is 0, or 1 + 1 is 2, and ones and zeros.
I'll tell you the reality. I know a lot of people that have worked in China, both in corporations and U.S. intelligence and other things, and they say you'll have big, glistening, beautiful buildings right next to open sewers, and just somebody falls down and dies, no one picks it up, and maggots eat them. And it's just heartless and soulless. And if the police don't like what you say, they just blow your head off. And they've got 3 million Muslims that aren't a very radical group in camps, 1 million Christians and Buddhists, and the left doesn't care because it's empty. Something as big as what Hitler did is going on right now under Xi Jinping with the Uyghurs and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And you're hearing nothing out of the media. All these big tech companies, a bunch of them are having their widgets made in these camps. And if you smart off to a guard at one of those work camps, you're executed. Every day, at least from the drone footage they've estimated, 600 people at one camp, that's like 100-something thousand, are taken off to be killed and put on a train, driven out, harvested their
Does it make sense?
I don't know anything about.
Well, no, the Chinese have all kinds of people in labor camps right now.
I understand. Yeah,
like
I know
literally,
about the labor camps,
when I say
but I don't
labor
know about
count,
the execution of 600,000 people.
if you look at Doc Al, right? What's the phrase that's on the outside of it? You remember?
Work makes you free.
Yeah. Right?
No.
It's a labor camp, and they are actively running labor camps in China right now.
The labor camps
with ethnic minorities.
Yeah.
They kill them. They sell the organs.
So and you believe that's real? Because that
No. They have the footage.
I have heard it, but
I
have
put
not.
the bags over their heads and load them, and the sources, the Pentagon says this. I believe it. They ship them off to be killed.
And why is nobody doing anything about that?
Because Chinese people can't be racist. Only white men are bad.
Yeah.
Imagine if we had millions of people in death camps.
The Uyghurs, they're actually this is in AP just a couple months ago. They're fucking aborting any child that gets or anybody gets pregnant gets an abortion.
Oh yeah,
if you're an Iger.
their population
And they're sterilizing
their birth
people.
rate's down 80%,
Yeah, and they're sterilizing the Igers. Anyone that comes through the system.
or making them marry a Chinese man. So they're moving. They're the same genetics, but they're moving ethnic Chinese in that are don't have a religion now, and they're making them marry a man, or they sterilize them, and they have to have a cell phone and a social credit score, and they admit, like an Alexa, it's listening all the time.
So why are we letting
them
take over Hollywood, buy real estate and everything else? Why is America letting that happen?
There's evidence here. Hamid Sabi, S-A-B-I, not too long ago, actually, about this time last year, was in Geneva talking to the UN, and he told them straight up and provided evidence that the Igers are being killed, ethnic minorities in general are being killed, and their organs harvested. This is on Independent UK.
Including the Tibetans.
Yeah. Like this is not something that's just been made up. This is something that actual human beings that do research on human rights violations have told the UN. Yeah.
And they actually put out, this is like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They have mobile execution vans per city. Small cities have 6, big cities have 12 to 24.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Because they like to not have people killed in the military base or at the prison. They harvest them, and it's in the brochures, so it's fresh on the way to the airport. And then rich people fly in all over the world, so Japan's in on it, and they do the surgeries in Japan. So it's all done, broken up, like you get a piece, we get a piece. So they harvest you, they have you blood typed, ready. The person's ready, they're in Tokyo, they come there, they're in Osaka, wherever. Then they drive you, they gut you, get your blood, so you have blood type, everything you need. They even get your blood type. Okay, and their favorite is the Falun Gong, because they don't drink, they don't smoke.
Yeah.
They've all been genetically tested. And then they deliver all of those products, including it to be freeze-dried for you in the future, but you get your organs in Japan.
Here's what the attorney said. He said detainees were, quote, killed to order, cut open while still alive for their liver, or their kidneys, livers, hearts, lungs, cornea, and skin to be removed and turned into commodities for sale. He said, this is a researcher that said that in front of the UN just this time last year.
So my question is this, why won't the American media report on any of this?
Because it's liberal.
Forget about why, though.
These are scum. And they're now working with China and the UN to put out their official story that 2.5 million Americans will be dead if we didn't stay permanently locked down. Right. Remember, it was only be 15 days. So the UN
and has anybody
says
really
China
been locked
did
down?
the best on this.
Has anybody really been locked down? Have you guys? Because
well,
we live in a major city.
Yeah.
Well,
Danny
the businesses
travels. You
got
travel.
locked down. The businesses, because
For sure.
Yeah.
But that didn't stop you from going over to people's houses and being in public and all this other
this
stuff.
is phase
To
one.
some people,
Yeah.
it did, though. Look, I had neighbors in look, you and I live in residential neighborhoods with HOAs and all that other shit. It was divided in my neighborhood where kids couldn't come out and play with other kids. Parents didn't want parents to play with other parents.
Yeah.
And look, whatever you want to say about the media and everything else, there is so many people that believe in it every single day.
They want to comply.
Every
Yes.
word.
Yes.
Every
in
word.
my
too.
neighborhood, for like 6 months on like Saturdays, these women get in the front yard. They're all like 10 feet away from each other, and they're all like cultists.
Same.
And I'll be walking down the neighborhood, and they'll go to the other side of the street. I got the dog, I mean, this is a problem.
Standing outside
It
with
is.
masks on, yeah, it's crazy. Forget about why for just a second and think about the ideology behind this organization, China. It's a Che Guevara thing all over again, right? Che Guevara was a piece of shit. He fucking murdered gay people all the time. He's a leftist hero
He
now
said
somehow.
Mexicans were cockroaches.
Yeah. I mean, he's a total piece of shit human being. And luckily,
But buy the T-shirt. It's at
yeah,
Urban
right?
Outfitters.
I mean, it's
People don't know,
ridiculous.
like in Latin America, the upper class looks down on the lower class. He literally talked crap about people.
Yeah. So it's that all over again, right?
People don't even understand what a lock class means anymore. Like, that's another thing.
It's
Like,
true. He's right.
You defend China.
Yeah.
It's like, why are you defending China? Like,
They're not white.
If you,
Yeah.
Like, so they're killing millions of people,
Like,
taking their organs. Big deal. They're Asian. It's okay.
Like
you
how
have to
bad?
maintain your class system your entire
Right.
existence, and your family is not
Yeah.
allowed to
There's
leave
no
it.
upward mobility. Like how do you? Oh man, that's. How bad does another country or dictator or leader have to be where Trump would be just a little bit better than that for the left? Like, honestly, because what exactly is it that he's done? He's coarse. He says a lot of stupid shit. Like, honestly, the thing
he's
that
dropped the ball on the censorship. Trump's really fucked
for
up.
sure, yeah, he had the ability to come out and just like hammer people with actual evidence, and instead he says dumb shit all the time.
Yeah.
He thinks it's funny. He's joking. Like, I'm joking. Like,
But
yeah,
part of
maybe
that is he
he's like
doesn't-
maybe you should just inject fucking
But part of it is he doesn't
hydrochloroquine
give
in
a
you.
shit.
Well, of course he doesn't, but he's the president. He's got to because he's got the most
But
powerful
if he gave a
voice
shit,
in the
he'd
entire
listen to
world.
them.
There's got to be a balance.
But you know what happens? They talk to him. They go, "Sir, we're putting light." That was the top hospitals in the U.S. was putting tubes down when he already had a viral infection, and they were putting ultraviolet light into the lungs, and that was Mount Sinai, Cedars Mount Sinai. And it sounded crazy because he said like a light. He didn't have his facts together. He kind of shoots from the hip. You're right.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
But then Cedars Sinai goes, "No, here's our video." He's talking about we briefed him. They banned the video on the Cedars Sinai website of the most prestigious hospital, probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
We have all
because it was backing up Trump.
Yeah, and look, I've had an MRI. They inject that into your system, and you get to see.
There's a
the
couple of
shits.
different things. They inject a dye. There's something called for if you get like an upper or lower GI, you drink barium. It's a slightly radioactive, really thick, like pasty substance. You drink
Correct.
it. Then when they X-ray or MRI, they can see what the fuck's going on.
Right. So I had injected with the dye, and they told you what it is and said, "Hey, man, we're going to inject this into your system."
This is LED lights down the throat with the intubation.
Yes, and I think that's the next phase, right? Because the injection of the dye is weird, and
it's archaic at this point.
Yeah.
It's just unnecessary. Like if you could,
It's very cold.
If
too.
you could,
it is.
It's weird. If you could put somebody under and do it non-invasively like that, maybe your throat's a little sore, but there's no actual chemical in your body. That's probably better, right?
What about what you guys brought up earlier? This is a drill. What is it a drill for? It's for the real release. Bill Gates says terrorists will release a super COVID. Okay, he stands to gain from all this.
Yeah. I agree. But how old is Bill Gates, and how long will he be alive? Is the question.
Oh, he's like 60 years old, 65. I
Oh
forget.
shit! He'll probably live forever then.
His dad just died 3 weeks ago at 94.
Yeah.
He was his dad ran Planned Parenthood.
Yeah, so he'll go another 30 easy.
Gates is 64. Yeah, he's young. That's younger than I thought. I thought he was in his 70s, to be honest.
So
before we get to the sponsors, real quick, does Trump make the next debate?
When was it scheduled? I think it was like scheduled 2 weeks out.
Next Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday.
Not this upcoming one, but the one after that.
Yeah,
So not.
I don't
not
know.
today.
That's a big question.
Yeah.
I don't think he can because it's good. Well, it depends
It's a
on
town hall setting. I would sit it out if I were him.
Well, here's the thing. I think a town hall setting is way better for Trump. The way this last debate went, and we talked about it on the show last week. What's the purpose of having any moderator asking fucking stupid questions?
Yeah.
Like, what about this thing you said? Like, shut the fuck up. Let these two men talk to each other.
No, I agree.
See who's the better debater. See who has the more facts and who is just talking shit. And then
That
America.
Chris Wallace kept debating Trump. That was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
best
that
part.
was
I
bullshit.
don't get it, man. Just shut the fuck up and let those two guys that are up for election talk. Nobody gives a fuck about Chris Wallace. No one.
Chris Wallace cares about Chris Wallace.
Well, he should not.
I predict he Megyn killing himself. I think he'll have. He already doesn't have good ratings. I think he's off Fox with a major show soon. I mean, he's destroyed himself.
I agree. I agree with that. We get some sponsors who pay for this whole shit wagon to be on the air. First and foremost, ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Get yourself a mattress. 30% off if you're a member of the military or first responder, or you work in the government or are a teacher in this life. If you're a regular dumb civilian like myself, you get 25% off and you get 2 free pillows with a mattress. As always, at ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros, they've got a 36-month pay-as-you-go program, no interest there. And all of the deals I just mentioned are applicable with that no interest deal. Take it. If Biden gets in there, he's going to lock down the country. You're going to be sleeping in bed for the rest of your lives. Buy a mattress now from ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. The bundle package is their new October sale. You get 30% off a bundle package. So the adjustable base, the pillows, and the mattress, the covers, in case you're getting weird, all of that is 30% off, and you can bundle that up and still use the no interest program. Next up, we got KillcliffCBD.com. D'Anthony, if you're out there, it's the only drinkable CBD that you should be putting inside your body. Otherwise, you don't know what that shit's going to be mixed with. A whole lot of China, my man. You will not piss hot for any THC on this. If you're out there and you got to get drug tested every day, 25 milligrams of CBD in every single can. And they got 4 amazing flavors: mango, grape, orange kush, and the new strawberry, which is phenomenal. With the promo code Drinkin Bros, you get 20% off and free shipping there. We are gigantic fans of KillcliffCBD.com. We drink it every single night, for real. I have a can before bed every single night. 25 milligrams of CBD in every single can. Promo code Drinkin Bros will get you 20% off and free shipping. Last but not least, We've got First Leaf wine.
Oh, yeah.
D'Anthony, this is a big one. I can't believe it.
I'm glad they're back. So they during COVID times they didn't know how it was going to go, so they sat it out for a little bit. Now they're back because look, we've sold them a lot of wine, and it's because
Well, I want some.
it's the best.
Oh, yeah.
it
Get
is.
it out of here.
Hey, we'll get it out. We got a bottle in there.
Yeah, we got a
Yeah.
couple bottles in there.
Yeah.
It's. I'll go get some after we do this one. We'll break and we'll get some wine break.
Yeah,
But
we'll take a little pee break. Like gentlemen.
this is the best. I've been part of 8, 9 wine clubs since I lived in Oakland. Right, it's Napa, Sonoma, that areas there. You just sign up for wine clubs. I've been a part of a lot of them. This one is the most interesting one I've ever been a part of because they're a curator of great wines, right? You have to meet certain requirements to be in their list, but also they send you your initial box, right? 6 bottles of wine.
6 bottles of wine for $29.95.
Right.
And it's $5 a piece.
But it's only after you answer a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Tell me some of the flavors, the smells you like, the foods, the flavors you like, right? Spicy, sweet, whatever you like.
Jared wants cheeseburgers, onions.
They don't do cheeseburger
hot
wine
dogs.
yet.
I was about to say.
Yeah.
They
I
don't
want
do
cheeseburger
cheeseburger wine yet, but we'll make one.
They're getting close. They're
Get
getting
one that
close.
goes with a cheeseburger.
Yeah,
Yes.
a wine that
Kind of a nice
pairs
dry,
with a
light-
cheeseburger.
No,
Is there-
but you can pair it with food. So if you go to
Yeah.
tryfirstleaf.com/Drinkin Bros today, that's tryfirstleaf.com/Drinkin Bros. You get 6 bottles of wine for
$30.
$29.95.
That's a
$30
good
bucks.
deal. At
That's
Try-
$5 a bottle.
Yes.
If you can't do math out there, folks, and I know most of you can't.
That's a good deal.
Even if you're just poor and want to get fucked up, do it. If you
It
don't
is.
like it, you get your money back guarantee. So let's say you're saying, "Hey man, I get the 6 bottles for $30, and then I want my money back." Feel free.
And what would
but
you
you're
pair
not
with
gonna
a
wanna do
cheeseburger?
that. What would I pair with a cheeseburger? A nice red.
Pinot Noir.
Yes.
Light.
A nice yes. Look
Slightly
at
chilled.
us.
Slightly
look at us.
chilled.
You and I should have dinner after
You guys are
this.
so. You already gave me a cheeseburger with the show.
We did.
We're-
Of
Hell
course,
yeah!
Of course,
I needed
Jared
a QB before the show.
had to go to, what was it, PT Terry's?
Pretty good.
Pete
It's
Terrace.
better
Pete
than
Terrace, yeah.
Whataburger, and
Hey, but tell me the
I
name
am in
again,
on
though,
that.
because
It's
I want to get
First
this
Leaf.
wine.
Tryfirstleaf.com.
/Drinkin
Yeah,
Bros.
it's great.
Tryfirstleaf.com.
Try Firstleaf. So you answer your questions, you get your 6 bottles, you drink them, hopefully all not all in one night, but if you got to do what you got to do, then
You drank them at the shooting range.
Yeah, good luck.
Yes. Yeah.
You answer some questions. You give a review of I like this one for this reason, I like this one for this reason, and blah blah blah. Right? I didn't like this one for this reason, and then they start to custom tailor your wine after that. And then after the second shipment, you do the same thing, right?
It just
And
keeps
then
getting better and
it's
better and better.
like
and
you
it's
will
wines from all over the world.
Yeah, all over the
Australia.
world, and you'll end up getting just the wines that you love. Right,
Correct.
but you also get to try new things. Maybe that you find something you love that you didn't know you would. Right, so it's the perfect wine club.
Best in the biz. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/Drinkin Bros today. 6 bottles for $29.95. Now, this is what you all came for, the election prediction. First of all, I think we can all agree here that we think Trump is going to win, correct?
Yes, he's going to win, but the Democrats' admitted strategy, this even came out in the New York Times 2 months ago with John Podesta, is they're going to contest it, and they're going to try it under the 20th Amendment to hold it off to January 20th, because then if they haven't had the electors seat the president, if it's still up in the air, we're still being held up because of ballots, then the Speaker of the House calls a vote. She has the bill already introduced last Monday, and then the House representatives will vote to elect the 46th president of the United States.
Okay, so the House, not the Senate.
The House.
And they currently control the House.
Yes.
Is there a possibility that the Republicans take back the House in this next election?
I don't think so. I think there's a landslide for Trump, but there's a fraud slide of 80 million fake ballots, never before done, mailed out in their jurisdictions to gum things up and then say Trump is contesting the election. So they say, we're going to contest, Hillary said this, we're contesting, we think we're going to lose, we're contesting. Then when Trump contests the contesting, they say he's being a dictator, he's not allowed to contest. That's why Chris Wallace is like, you need to admit day one when you lose, you've lost.
Right.
And so they already tried the impeachment, they tried the Russiagate, they tried the Ukraine gate. And so they never get in trouble. So they're going to try this new fiasco, and they're going to try to kill the dollar and the stock market during it, and they hope the military will then remove Trump. But the House Armed Services Committee, 2 Democrats, they're CIA, one public, one not, they got elected a few years ago. They are leading the charge to have this letter that goes out quietly asking, will you overthrow Trump? Well, they publicly sent one to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Milley, saying, will you help us overthrow Trump during a contested election? He said, no, that's illegal, and you shouldn't even talk about that. So that was a repudiation. So the media then spun it and said, Trump's talking to the military about a coup. We don't need a coup if you're already getting elected. So but the thing is, they've not been punished for this, so they're going to try it again. But yes, Trump's going to win in a landslide, may even win the popular vote despite election fraud. But again, they're going to hold that up saying we've got 20 million outstanding ballots. 80 million were mailed out to dead cats and stuff and dead people.
Right.
So, oh my God, there's 20 million, 30 million. Oh, you can't not have their votes. I mean, we've got to. So it's all premeditated using COVID as the backbone.
Well, we know cats have been systematically underrepresented in the federal government for years. For years, and it's unacceptable.
Dead cats.
Dead cats especially,
He
yeah.
exactly just outlined my prediction. Because I was going to say, I don't think we're going to know, because there is so much collusion, corruption, and everything, and they're trying everything in their power to fuck this up. Like, even if it comes out, look, he won, they're going to pull, they're backed into a corner.
It's a no-win scenario
Yeah.
for Trump because of the optics, right? Because of the media controls the narrative. And look, here's what we know about history. The winners get to write the history books. You know what I mean?
Right.
By the way, they're not my sponsor, but this is really good wine.
It's First Leaf.
First Leaf.
Try
Try
First Leaf,
firstleaf.com/Drinkin
It is
Bros.
good.
Yeah,
Not
we
endorsed
busted out
by the piece
wine.
of shit Alex Jones.
They start losing customers and shit.
But I mean, this is going to be a huge mess. Like, even
Defeat
as
Alex
they announce,
Jones. Buy First Leaf.
Yeah. So my prediction
Riots?
is.
What about riots?
Well, yes. So my prediction is this. I think Trump will get the Electoral College that night. I think he'll be giving a speech somewhere around midnight to 12:30. However, the Democrats will contest and say, we have all these mail-in ballots. Let's wait to hold this up. Like Jared said, I believe there will be riots. I believe that night after Trump wins, because let's face it, as soon as the Electoral College comes in for him and he wins, he'll give a speech immediately, whether or not Biden has called him or not. I believe people will be out in Austin, Seattle, all these major cities, and the same bullshit that happened in 2016
Totally safe bet.
will be tripled this time. Because I was in New York the day after the election in 2016. We were here we were looking for houses here, Dan and I, during all the BLM stuff and everything else. Like, I think it's going to get nasty, and I think it's going to go on right around until Thanksgiving, until the weather starts cooling down, and then they just don't want to be outside anymore.
I think that's not a prediction. That's like time travel. I mean, that's what's going to happen. And they've said they're going to do it, and so it's not even really a prediction. They're going to do this. The question is, will they get away with it? How do we respond? How does Trump respond? And that's really the big question.
It is. So I want to go.
yeah, because they came out and said if he wins the election, we're burning this place down.
Here's the bigger deal.
Yeah.
All of big tech, an internet kill switch isn't the whole internet. It decides what you get. When Obama put it in, and we knew they were doing it, they finally declassified part of it in a telecommunications funding hearing like a year before Obama left. I tried to read like the hearing because I didn't watch it. And they admitted in there, we're going to push messages to your phone. We're going to block inauthentic sites. And during an emergency, there'll only be a list of sites you go to. So when the internet kill switch goes in, you only get who's on board. London Guardian, the Associated Press, CNN, MSNBC. So they've now announced, starting election day, and they're already ratcheting down, where Tucker Carlson's now shadow banned, Facebook admits. No one can see it unless you go to his page. No one can share it. So by election day, they're saying even Trump's will be dialed down on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere. And if he announces he's won, because the math shows it, they will not carry the feed. And the media is now in agreement. Now, let's see them actually follow this. But they are going to try to block when he comes out in a big drill of censorship. So this is a big test. I mean, so internet kill switch goes in day of the election. Watch.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. We heard in advance of like, hey man, anybody who's got something or any guest that is relatively conservative on your show, they're going to start knocking down the numbers for 6 weeks up until the election. We're currently going through that on YouTube.
Wasn't Facebook offering people
Yeah, they
money
slowly strangle you so no one notices it.
Right.
Facebook was offering people money to deactivate their account until November.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
It had a bunch of emails had leaked or something like that they were offering people money to deactivate
deactivate
Hey, I
their
had
account. Now,
Facebook-
whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I read the
I
same
had
article.
Facebook offer me
It's on
4.5
Fox
years
Business.
ago money.
They
No
offered you
way.
money.
Yeah, I mean,
To delete your account?
it's like we want you to fly to New York. Let's show you what happens if we turn your account on.
It's on USA
So it's-
Today. It's on ABC. It's on Fox Business. It's on The Verge.
What?
It's not fake.
Yeah.
It's not fake.
It's
No.
not fake.
They
No,
were
I-
offering-
I
They're-
read the same article
it's,
as well.
it's supposed to be like some kind of mental health break. I think that's how they're like. We'll
Classifying it as,
pay
yeah.
you just to hang out and fucking to stay off social media.
'cause you're in the algorithm, they know
Because
you're
social
gonna-
media won Trump the election in 2016. Twitter won him the election.
Yes.
Right. We all know that now. Well, Twitter and Cambridge Analytica. Let's be real. But like that, this is a very coordinated and direct, and not even kind of. They didn't even try to
They're
hide
not
it.
even hiding it.
No.
Like, what
That's
the fuck?
what's frustrating is, I'm telling you, type in, there's a bunch of these headlines, but they're already
This is a
getting
different one.
you
Try
used
this
to
one.
it to shut down the internet. But again, the internet will still be there. It's just that none of us can communicate. It's a total shadow ban. It's an internet kill switch, and they admit it. That's what it's true. That's what's crazy is they're hiding it in plain view, man.
What was the number they offered you? Do you remember?
Well, it worked like this. They do it through law firms. And I actually have signed non-disclosures. I shouldn't even know this. But I swear this is all real. And, well, I'm not going to say names of companies, actually.
That's fine. Seven figures? Was it seven figures?
No, let me tell you how it works. Traffic is money. So it's like counterfeit. It's like we all think of money as money, but really traffic is money. So
Eyeballs are money.
it's like Jeff Zuckerberg really likes you. He wants you to meet with one of his top people in New York. And I'm like, yeah, right. So I send a representative up there, and they come in and they go, no, it's them, big law firm. They just say, be nice to Facebook and stop your attacks on Zuckerberg. And starting next Monday, you'll want to do this new thing Facebook mentions that you've already had for a while, but watch what happens if you play ball. So I'm not even remembering it. I shoot a video in my backyard, and by the end of the video, there's 1 million people on at the same time. Okay, and it has like 10 million views by the end of the night.
Right.
So this goes on for about a week, and every video I do is getting like 5, 10 million, 20 million views. Paul Watts is getting 40 million views. I mean, they later deleted all these. Paul had one like 60 million in like a day, okay? And we went, okay, what do you guys want? And they're like, well, we need to talk to some representatives. And I'm just going to leave it at that. We didn't take the money. So
Here's what USA Today says, by the way. It says Facebook will pay some users as much as $120 not to use the app or Instagram, Facebook app, obviously, or Instagram ahead of the 2020 election as part of a study. The social media giant announced.
it's a social credit score test.
Yeah,
Correct,
essentially.
yeah.
As the social media giant announced its new research partnership August 31st is to, quote unquote, better understand the impact of Facebook and Instagram on key political attitudes and behaviors in the U.S. 2020 election. So here's what we know. 2016, social media wins Trump the election. 2020, Facebook starts paying people not to use social media to influence the election. A, B. And what's C?
Trump loses.
Yeah.
This is a coordinated effort by a major media company, one of the biggest
This is
companies.
election meddling.
Yes,
This is sedition.
Yeah.
Right?
This is sedition.
This is why they should be public utilities and not
They
fucking
should be.
private.
You got to operate as a utility if you have this. It's
Yes,
like a
I
telephone.
agree.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Let's just move on from the fiction.
By the way, they also sent out a survey after they started it, asking people how much it would take for them to do this. Because 120 wasn't enough for a lot of people. So like, well, how much would it take for you to do that? Not even kidding. This is USA Today.
But that's how much people
That's
rely on social
fucking
media.
I was
crazy,
joking about
yeah.
Facebook. That was a fictional story. But I'll tell you another fictional
Are
story.
you still on Facebook?
No, but I mean, I did agree not to talk about it. But that was we got contacted by a major billionaire. Like, I mean, we're talking about there's the top and there's the top.
Yeah. Saudis.
Well, yeah, we get contacted, and so I'm not supposed to get into it, but it's the same deal. They go, listen, what's up? They said, how would you like, instead of having lawsuits, money? And so you go to the law firm. It's a whole. I mean, this is how
This is how the mafia operates, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, hey, instead of us showing up and breaking the glass out of your door every day, why don't you just like give us a couple $100 and we'll fucking leave you alone? We'll even protect you. Shit.
Yeah.
This is fucked up.
But it's not shocking. Like, I'm not
No, it's not
shocked by
shocking,
any of this.
No, but they just straight face with us.
Yeah.
It's like, by the way, we have this 400 pages transcript, everything you said about Mr. Such and Such. He's taking a particular hatred. This is like his main lawyer. Like, we're in the fucking huge rooms with these dudes, like huge tables and like the tops of buildings in D.C. It's not even hidden.
I
They're
love
like,
it.
you're one of the only people we couldn't buy.
I love it. I wish somebody would buy out Nate Silver and cancel him, by the way.
But listen, here's the deal. If they were promoting America, it's not selling out. I'd just join them. They literally want to teach young boys, their girls, and chop their balls off, man.
Yeah.
They want to literally screw over America and the whole world. F those people. They could offer me $1 trillion. I ain't taking it.
Yeah, man.
It's only worthless once everything melts down anyway.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's time for the election prediction here. As always, we're going to Nate Silver's 538. I don't know why he has a site or even exists. He got one thing right, and everybody's been sucking his dick for 8 years.
Have you guys shown people? We're going to hit this. Have you shown them your mascot?
Oh, yeah.
Michael
of course.
Myers?
Yeah, Michael
I
Myers.
think we should move him in here to be part of the prediction.
I agree. So we had you want to put him in here? Put him in here. Look, we're killing the election. Prediction show. We might as well have the best horror movie killer of all time in here. Thank you, Giorgio. Come on in.
You think he's the best?
One of them. I enjoy it. Like me personally, I like Jason. as well. But I like.
But I was thinking about something cool like a bear or a wooden Indian. No, this is what I need. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to have 5 of these, though.
We have this
over
in
the
our
studio?
lobby, so if you come to the studio here, which we always invite fans.
Well,
I didn't mean to misdirect
No,
you.
what you don't
No, not at all.
What
It's
you
shit.
don't know is that was originally a Christmas present for his
my
5-year-old.
child, my
his
5-year-old.
5-year-old child.
Because I'm a director, so he's been in like 3 movies. He loves horror films and all that other stuff. This is what he asked for at 5 years old for Christmas. And I said, look, I will get this for you. The problem is you're going to be frightened by it, and I'm going to put it in your room, and you're going to have to tell your father that you're frightened of it, or else I will not move it out of your room. A week later, he came to me and he said, Dad, I need this out of my room. And I go, I told you. Therefore, he doesn't ask me
I
for
couldn't
this
sleep
anymore.
with that in my
By the
room.
way,
No.
you just read my mind because as a mammal and as a dad,
Yes.
I keep looking and seeing a dude with a butcher knife in the door. That's why I was like, what is? I keep going, huh? What?
And so I asked him, I said, where did you learn about Michael Myers? Because I don't let my kids watch any of that stuff, right?
I don't either.
And so what he said
Funny,
was...
I just rewatched the new remake last week. I'd never seen it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was Danny McBride and those guys produced it out of Wilmington,
Really?
North
I didn't
Carolina.
know that.
Yep. Yeah. And
Almost
Jamie
a
Lee
pro-gun
Curtis.
movie.
What's up?
Kind of pro gun. How that they
Oh yeah. Jamie Lee Curtis was blowing people away, and she had to make a pro 2A
I hadn't
statement.
seen it, so it's funny. I watched it last week.
Yeah.
In my little home theater, and here it is.
Danny McBride was the one that
Almost
brought
all
that back
movies
to life.
are Pro 2A, by the way,
Yeah, agreed.
because they demonstrate the narrative that would lead to somebody having to defend themselves.
Including you, The Rock, who just threw your support behind Joe Biden.
You know, The Rock
Bro.
really screwed the pooch with that.
Yeah, that was a huge.
He did not smell.
It was
what
unnecessary.
cooking. Yes.
Like
I
he
agree.
didn't have to do that. He's one of the most ubiquitously popular guys in
Yeah, he
all of
fucked up.
Hollywood
Yeah.
for years
Fucked
now.
up.
Did that burn? Did that fucking blow up in his
Oh my
face?
God! Look at his
course,
Instagram.
yeah, he's getting lit the fuck
Every
up.
single post now is like, "Fuck you! I used to love you, man. You were awesome."
He said he was a Republican.
Yeah. And here's the thing: like Republicans, all they love is steroids, America, action movies, guns, and then you're like, "Yeah, but I'd really like
Yeah,
Joe
the left
Biden
hates
there."
big masculine men.
Yes, I don't understand what all of that was about. You just alienated your
What is this?
entire fan base.
Well,
I
the
didn't mean to interrupt. Handicap the election.
masculine men are the threat. Like whenever these fucking dumb sketty white kids show up in a city, like here in Austin, actually, they tried to set up a Chaz or Chop here, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
State police showed up on horseback. They were gone within 45 minutes. That's the threat to them. So you-
Anytime they know there's real pushback, they run. But when they know
Yeah.
a mayor like in Portland is giving
Oh
them
yeah, Ted
comfort,
Wheeler.
you know.
Yeah, that guy's a piece of shit. So they want to make it unpopular or unethical to be evoking toxic masculinity.
Well, that's like the
toxic masculinity is the reason we exist, bitch.
Yeah.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
that's like the McCluskeys in St. Louis. They're saying we're going to burn your house down. They come out with guns to protect themselves, and they get indicted.
Yeah.
I mean, the message is you're not going to protect yourself from commies.
Most
Yeah.
popular Halloween costume, number 2 behind Tiger King this year, by the way. It is. We need to make Jared drink again. We got to get you back up, buddy.
I'm
One
back up.
day.
I'm
we
drinking,
need you
I'm
back
drinking
up.
Welch's.
What is this?
So we're going to talk about the election prediction.
Handicapping it.
Yes, Nate Silver every year. So, and we bet on this on mybookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros doubles your deposit. We always bet on this shit. On the sports show, they now have every single state. In 2016, I called every single state except for Pennsylvania. I would like to get
You're
your
famous
take
for
on
that.
this. Yes, correct. But 80% now, as of today, 80% is what Nate Silver says Biden has a chance of winning over Trump. As of today, he's doing a daily polling every single
But
day.
was he right last time?
No,
The
He was
last two
incorrect,
times he's
and he
been
had
wrong,
the
yeah.
same numbers as last
That's like
time.
Paul Krugman said we never get to 3% growth rate. We went to 3.8.
Correct. So today we're gonna go state by state here. Okay, Nebraska.
Trump.
I got Trump as well. Dan.
For sure, Trump. Nebraska is polling very Trump right now.
Yes.
Like
yes.
My wife's from Nebraska, and she has family that were Democrats. They're voting Trump.
Because of Big Ten football, I bet. I
All of
guarantee
it. Yeah, but they're just sick of hearing America sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Wyoming.
Trump.
Yes, I've got Wyoming for Trump as well. Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, Wyoming's not going. Look, here's the deal with Wyoming, by the way. They're one of the few states that didn't obey any of the mask. Well, not obey, but they didn't.
Them in South Dakota.
They didn't. Yeah, they didn't implement any of that shit. Look, it's a spread out ass country. You know what I mean? Our country. It's a huge state. Oh, you want to hear? It's a fresh
here you go.
cup here for white.
Slide it over here.
There's a.
You know, I do my Sunday show and my Wednesday show. I don't know how I'm going to do this here.
We've been going hard today.
It's fake, folks. I have a driver.
Wyoming is a big state that's very concerned as a state with individual liberty. They're worried about. I mean, this sounds trite and crazy, but think about the show Yellowstone and how like the narrative of that show, or how big investors are trying to come in and take over all this beautiful land, right? That's going on in Wyoming right now. It's a real story.
For real.
It happens all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
And those people are all about fucking individual liberty. You
Well, you
really
know the
think they're going to
producer-
vote for fucking Joe Biden? There's
Agree.
no chance.
And
Come
not
on.
a prayer. Not
I
a
happen
prayer.
to know folks that know the producers and the writers on that show because they own a ranch in Texas
Okay.
with the director. And they say the story's real because they also have a big ranch in Wyoming and Montana, not just Texas. And they said, no, you don't understand. The show's real. And so, like, the names and stuff are just things this guy learned and changed the names.
Yeah.
So, like, Yellowstone's a composite of a bunch of different families and different fights in multiple states.
Liberals, if anything is
what you
cool,
said's true.
liberals
That's
will
crazy.
find it and take it over and destroy it, and that's real. West Virginia. I've got West Virginia for Trump.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, Nebraska is polling 6-7 points ahead for Trump right now. West Virginia is like fucking 20 points ahead for
Yeah.
Trump, 20 or
he
30.
wins West Virginia big time.
Like, it's not even close over there.
Easily.
And
So-
this is in the polling that skews left. So who knows what that's really going
and
to
when
look
you
like.
tell
You know what I
West Virginians you can't have something,
Especially guns.
mean? Well, guns and Percocet and crystal meth. They're going to be like, hey, I'm an American. I'm entitled to my crystal meth. And they're right.
I think a lot of that there.
Oh, yeah. Are you kidding
Come
me?
on. Have you ever seen The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia?
Absolutely.
It's one of the best
Absolutely.
documentaries of all time. It's so
Jared
funny.
was the one
Made
that
by-
turned me
Why
on
do
to
they
that.
use so many drugs in like Kentucky and West Virginia?
because it's
they're
boring
bored.
as fuck.
It's boring as
and they're
shit
poor.
there. Have you ever
They're
been
bored
there?
and
They're
poor.
like the 15th generation of a family that has never left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it goes back to the whiskey rebellion
Probably,
and
yeah.
moonshining. So now we cook meth, we don't make
Yeah.
moonshine.
A lot of them didn't go full term. Like a lot of those.
Oh, there's a-
you know
there's
what
a
I'm
lot of-
saying?
there's a lot of fetal alcohol
7-monthers.
syndrome,
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
up there, yeah.
8-monthers
Yeah.
there. A lot of close eyes.
Yeah.
A lot of close eyes there. Oklahoma. Or was that too crazy? I'm sorry, that's too crazy.
I'm sorry,
My eyes,
Danny
my
Warstop
eyes are
from
close
Asking
together, as long as my
Alexandria.
head's so big. I have eyes like a spider.
Oklahoma. I got Oklahoma for Trump.
It's funny that that's even in question. Trump's ahead by 25 points.
Great. Yeah, I've got Oklahoma for Trump.
What
easily.
about Texas?
Texas for Trump? I've got Texas for Trump. You?
It should be. There's so much election.
Drudge
fraud.
Report, though, has said, could it turn blue? I don't know
think
when
so.
Drudge
You know, I know
Report
Matt
turned
Drudge.
left.
I know Matt Drudge.
Yes. What's the fucking story there?
Well, you're right by my office. Many years ago, he came, hung out with us. Very
Yeah.
reclusive, nice guy, very unusual. Trump, basically, from what I know, snubbed Drudge and didn't do advertising with him and didn't appreciate the fact that he helped him get elected. And so I was told that Drudge basically sold to CNN 2 years ago. And I was told, get ready, by the election, he'll be full CNN. And so CNN runs the Drudge Report.
He is full of CNN, by the way.
Well, I was told by the White House he was bought by CNN.
The last
And
9
then-
months have been all doomsday
Well, I was told this.
CNN
I was told this
articles.
2 years ago, and I asked Drudge, who would usually respond. Like, I could send Drudge a link. He still runs it. Like, hey, please put this up. It would be up. I didn't ask all the time, but like,
Yeah.
and I like Drudge. He helped get Trump elected. But I was told by Steve Bannon first, who I don't really like. I said, hey, he sold out to CNN. By a year from the election, you'll see it. And I was like, oh, yeah, right. And I asked him, Drudge wouldn't respond. And then I talked to the White House. They go, yeah, he's in bed with CNN. So when you see the Drudge Report, it's CNN, according to...
It looks like CNN, by the way. What happened with Bannon? Did you meet with him?
I mean, I talked to him some early on, but Bannon is a double dealer where he'd act all patriotic and he kind of used what I was saying on air. Miller's real. He's been a big listener since he was
Stephen
in
Miller?
college.
Yeah.
So they kind of listen and they get it, but now they're on, they don't need to listen to me anymore. They get the real picture, anti-globalism. But with Bannon, he would always double deal. So he brought in the McMasters and the Fiona Hills and the General Mattises thinking he'd co-opt them, and they co-opted him. And so I don't know what he was doing at the end of the day, but he was all about power. And so I don't think he was an enemy of America. He was also financed by some anti-communist Chinese people. They're probably double agents, so you don't know what's really going on. But just Bannon was just too much about him.
Got it. Oklahoma is the next one.
Or double dealer.
yeah.
He would try to be everybody's friend. You can't do that here.
Yeah, no, you can't. So Oklahoma. I got Oklahoma for Trump.
Yep.
Yeah, by 30 points,
Yes.
probably.
That's probably his strongest state.
Yeah,
One of them, yeah,
one
for
of them. Idaho. I've got Idaho for Trump.
Trump.
Come on.
Yep.
Yeah.
North Dakota and South Dakota.
Yes.
Both of those Trump for me.
Yep.
You guys?
Yep.
Kentucky.
Well, the governor's engaged in such election fraud. Got in through fraud. That's one of the states I think's in swing. I hate to say it. I want to. A real election, I think Trump wins. But with the fraud, that's where they've proven it's going on.
We'll see. We'll see. That'd be a big one. If Trump doesn't win Kentucky, he's up by 18.5 points right now.
Yeah.
If he didn't win that, and this again is in national polling, which is skews left. So if he doesn't win by 15 to 20 points, you know something's up over there.
I agree. I'll say this. I'll go Kentucky for Trump, but if he loses that early in the night, the fix is in.
Correct. And that's why I wanted to bring that up, because that's going to be the ones that close at 7. So you're going to get one of those, a Kentucky very early on in the night. I've got Kentucky for Trump. I think it's fine. Arkansas. Arkansas, to me, is a no-brainer. Is Sarah Huckabee Sanders running for governor there?
They were talking about that, but no, I think it goes Trump.
Yeah, I think it goes Trump as well.
Arkansas is actually interesting because unlike a lot of the other states, this is on 538, by the way, it was a 3-point Trump lead until he announced he had COVID. Now it's 56-39 Trump.
So how did that swing 14 points?
In
Because
one-
he has-
in one day.
One day.
There's a
That's because of
sympathy
COVID.
thing. They want to take care of him.
Maybe. I don't know what it is, but it changed in one
Or
day.
It makes
Nate
people,
Silver's full of
here's
shit.
what happens. People are ashamed to say they support Trump, but if he might die, now they're not ashamed. It creates
No, we hear this, by the way, from people in business in Hollywood all the time. Like, hey, I can't say this because of this, and this sponsor, or
Exactly.
this, and this deal, but I'm definitely voting for Trump.
Yeah.
I agree. I don't think Trump staged this, but this is the sympathy thing of people getting off the fence. Oh, if he might die, I better say what I really support.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree.
So I think his real number was 56.
Yeah.
And I think now that this came out,
They actually have to publish it. Yeah.
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 I agree. Alabama's up next. I've got Alabama for Trump.
Huge.
Yeah.
15 points.
Yep. You got Alabama for Trump?
absolutely.
Okay. The next one up is Utah. Utah, home of Mitt Romney.
Trump.
I got Trump for Utah as well. You?
Yep.
Yep. Tennessee.
You're the only 10 I see.
Oh, I appreciate that. And that makes me feel like a little princess inside.
I think it's Trump.
I do
Trump's
too.
going to win that one.
I do too.
Yeah.
No matter what you do or say, Taylor Swift, you will not convince Tennessee to vote against
They're
Trump.
also all real pissed at the Nashville mayor right now.
Oh yeah, nobody's happy about that. Especially Kid Rock. He had some things to say about
Yeah, they
that.
shut down his bar as well. We were supposed to go there. Louisiana, I've got that for Trump. Louisiana, you guys are in agreement?
Mississippi.
Yep.
Big one.
The next one we got Indiana.
That's always Trump.
Yeah, always Trump
Not
as
even-
well.
not even
I
close,
agree. You got Indiana for Trump. Mississippi,
Trump.
Trump. I got Trump as well.
Yep.
Florida's the big one.
Correct. And we'll get to the swing states here in a second. Kansas, I've got for Trump as well.
I don't know the last time Kansas voted Democrat in a presidential election, but it's been a while, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think they've been voting.
I mean,
Since after the Civil War,
for
Republican.
decades, for decades at least.
Now, here's where it gets interesting, because it goes to your theory, what you were talking about Yellowstone. Montana. Does Montana stay for Trump? I believe it does for now.
Unless there's fraud, but there's going to be huge fraud.
He's up 10 points in Montana on the national polls right now, which means he's up 15 points probably, right?
I would agree as well. Missouri. Missouri I've got for Trump.
Missouri will never go Democrat unless it's I don't know what it would take, but it's not that. Like, look, in
And
Missouri,
letting hordes of people attack innocent people's houses is not.
yeah, that's a big thing that played a role there. The other thing is during all the COVID shit, the Lake of the Ozarks, they had fucking giant parties going on the whole time. She was at one of them actually. Like that famous one that you
Your
saw the
girlfriend
pictures
was?
of CNN. Yeah, the famous one that you saw the pictures of CNN. She was there for that shit.
No
You need to
shit.
get your girlfriend
That's
on
hilarious.
TV.
I know. Maybe we'll have her on at the end
She
of
should come
this.
sit right on your lap, right here.
Yeah,
Alaska.
that's good for me.
Alaska's Trump, right? That's Sarah Palin. She can see Russia from her house. We're good on Alaska, right?
They only care about money there. The only color that matters in Alaska is green.
Green, my man.
And if the economy's good, then they're gonna go.
The Aurora
fucking-
Borealis is there. Now here's where it gets interesting. South Carolina. South Carolina. Now this was when Biden turned it on, right? Biden won South Carolina by a massive victory. The Democrats had pretty much conceded after that, bought out Bernie Sanders and everybody else. I have South Carolina for Trump. We're from North Carolina. I just don't see them I don't see them flipping. I think it's. I think North
And
Carolina.
that's why the Democrats are going to put all the fake ballots out to create. All of this handicapping is great, but I mean, Trump's going to win, so they're going to contest it with everything.
But if you're going to do it, you're going to start with South Carolina, I believe.
I think you're right.
Maybe he's up 6 points there nationally right now. So
Right.
I doubt. Like you have to pick one that's more close than that. I think.
What can Trump not afford to lose? You can't lose Texas or Florida.
Yeah, so Texas
Florida,
is up
yeah.
next. I've got Texas still for Trump. Do you? I don't believe what Judge Report
Oh,
says.
yeah,
that
no,
it's
no,
blue.
no.
No, you can drive. I mean, in the last 4 weeks, I've driven from El Paso to Houston to Dallas and everything. Just look at the street signs. Like it is nothing. I think I saw the first Biden sign yet today.
Yeah, yeah.
You only see it in Westlake, Austin.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean Texas. Trump's up like 3 points or so in Texas right now nationally.
It
Again,
should be more. I think Trump easily handles this. Now, next one up is Iowa. Now, in this one in Iowa in the primaries, Biden finished in third place in his own fucking primary. There's no way in hell that I think Biden wins this state over Trump.
I don't see it. I mean, Trump's 1.5 points up right now nationally,
And I think that's bullshit.
yeah, probably right.
I think it's higher. Look, Biden finished third in his own primary.
Well, here
in Iowa.
you have
There's
to
no way.
you have to wonder about these polls. So, for those of you who don't know, there's two types of people. There's two types of questions, I guess. One is for registered voters, and the other one's for likely voters, right? So in 2016, the big mistake that all these pollsters made was they mismanaged what likely meant.
Right.
They didn't think, because historically they hadn't before, that people that had blue collar jobs were going to be likely voters, because oftentimes they sit out, even more than some minority groups. Like minority groups are notorious for sitting out elections. So are our blue collar workers, right? Because they just don't care. As long as I got shit to do, I don't care about that, right? That's kind of the attitude, and they misrepresented that in their polling. And you can read any of these fucking after action reports of the polling data from 2016. You'll always see that come up. We fucked up figuring out who actually was going to vote. Now you're telling me in this election, where the left has been intrinsically linked over the last 6 months or so to Marxist bullshit and shutting your fucking businesses down, that this populist movement is all of a sudden going to go away, and all these people that care about individual liberty are going to show up at the polls? That's fucking nonsense, man.
I mean, Trump's going to win.
He's going to win
so they're
Iowa
gonna
by
pull
4
the
or 5
election fraud.
points.
Yeah.
My big thing is, what do we do after he wins? He has to end the censorship. He has to get rid of the communist. If you want to have free speech as an American, I'm all for it. But if you openly work for the communist Chinese and think the country shouldn't exist, this is cancer.
Yes.
It has to be dealt with.
has to be cut.
And I'm not an authoritarian. I'm the opposite. They're authoritarians using our system to keep assaulting us. We've already put up with coup d'etats against the president. We've already put up with all these attacks. What do we do after this to say, hey, you want to dissent, that's fine, but not with a foreign power to end the country?
Well, name some fascist countries over the last 100 years. Germany, right?
Yeah.
Nazis.
Yeah.
Name another one.
Can't.
Name some leftist countries that were authoritarian.
A lot.
Russia, China,
Russia, yeah.
Venezuela, Cuba. You can fucking sit here for 2 days and name all the countries that have.
It's the threat.
At what point did people wake up? Because
Vietnam, list goes on and on. It's a goddamn disease, man.
Yeah,
And
like,
it's all financed by big, powerful multinational bankers, oligarchs that make money off having communism be the operating system to enslave people.
because it's a good way to control people, frankly, and the more you can control them
That's
as a
what
business.
Carol Quigley, Bill Clinton's main mentor, the head of political science, Georgetown, wrote in Tragedy and Hope. It's 1,100 pages long. And he says in the book how they do it. They go, we're the mega bankers, we're the rich, we use communism to control you.
Yeah.
And then these dumbass communists go, I want communism in America. You get one pair of shoes a year.
What global power has been fascist other than the Nazis? Like fascism is authoritarianism on the right, and communism is on the left.
It's a thing. Mussolini.
It's only been the
Mussolini was the head of the Socialist Party. Mussolini switched to fascism when he
because
decided
he didn't want to get murdered by Hitler, basically, right? He was a pussy. Like people think of Mussolini as like, oh, he's a terrible guy. I mean, he was a terrible guy for sure,
But he was a
also a
pussy.
pussy.
Yeah.
He capitulated immediately as soon as Hitler was like, hey, we've got big tanks and meth over here, so you better calm the fuck down. He's
They
like,
did, big
you know
tanks and
what?
meth.
Yeah.
I need to fucking guess we need to be
exactly.
fascist now.
Mussolini was a socialist, and then he switched when Hitler got in. Like, oh, now I'm this, and then Hitler, they said, modeled it after the salute and all that, but it was.
How did it become unpopular just to dissent? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like amongst the
Well, that's
people. When I say
stealing
the
your
people,
essence. Your essence is your free speech.
amongst the population of America and the global population, at what point, like whenever we're all fucking sitting around doing something and something doesn't seem right, and then somebody finally says something, there's a sense of relief, right?
Well, that's why they're doing unnatural things that's not going to be popular, that no one's going to accept. And so they have to censor us because people are going to speak up and say no.
I agree. And, well, look, we'll find out during this election who's going to stand up and who's going to just absolutely take it in the butt.
I agree. But, I mean, I'm telling everybody, we're 29 days the election, 30 days?
Yep.
Something like that, yeah.
I mean,
29 days.
And I guess when this, 25 days?
Yeah.
It's the 79 once that happens. Because if they can extend it a week or two, as Democrat judges are trying to do, it's been overridden a lot. That's good news. But they're still trying. This is their plan. So it's the 79 days of hell as soon as the freaking election happens in 30 days or 25 days.
And then whatever resolution comes from all this, even if the courts work the way they're supposed to and Trump continues being president, there's still going to be a shadow over that administration for the next 4 years. Like, oh, he stole the election. Like with Bush, his first one, right?
Yeah.
Right? It'll be that the whole time.
Exactly. They just did the shadow of Russiagate that was made up.
For 4 years, and now they're going to do the shadow of this for 4 years. I agree.
That's all they do because you're not illegitimate.
And they'll use it to interdict. And look, this is not a uniquely Democratic position. The Republicans did this during Obama's entire term. As soon as the Affordable
birth
Care,
certificate.
as soon the birth certificate thing, and as soon as the Affordable Care Act passed, 46 times they voted to try to overturn it, knowing they didn't have the votes.
Right.
Get fucked, dude. You've wasted so much time and money that could have been like. If you realize you can't do something, you have to, as a reasonable human being, move on to the next best thing and do that thing, right? Like, well, we can't stop this fire, but we can grab all these people and move them to a new location, right? You can't just say, fuck this fire, it doesn't exist, and let everybody burn. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Democrats have done that even bigger than Republicans now. So what do Democrats do? We saw no, it's not true. That's impossible.
It's escalation.
What's going to happen 4 years ago, total meltdown when Trump won. What happens? How big are the crocodile tears this time?
I want to see the same woman, by the way, in the same exact position. Yeah.
But I think, I mean, if he can get through their challenge and get essentially appointed again for another 4 years, I think we're going to see indictments happen. I think now he has nothing to lose.
Yep.
Now he can start rolling in on these shitbag politicians that have been shitbags their whole careers.
Or going on Google and antitrust and all that other shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I would love to see.
Yeah, I know, I agree. As much as I want to see the Obamas and the Clintons burned, that's great. But as long as we take the power away from them, back to people, it's fine. I want to see the censorship stop.
Yes. Same.
And I want to see the economic expansion begin.
Well, I mean, look, society is a market infrastructure, right? People respond to things that they fucking agree with or feel are true or that can be proven.
Yeah, their choices make the decisions.
Right. But if you suppress the information, then that fucks with the market, right? It's just like the economy. If you start fucking with the market, then there are consequences to that. If you start fucking with the free exchange of ideas, there are consequences to that. That's a problem. I don't care if what somebody's saying is true. Leave that up to me. I'm an individual human being. I'm a smart person. I can go find out if this is true or not. You can't fucking tell me what is true, Facebook.
Exactly. Anybody telling you can't see this for your own good is the bad guy.
Yes.
Right.
100%. 100% of the time.
And to me personally, I don't waste your time on trying to prosecute Obama or Hillary or any of that shit. Exactly what Alex Jones said. Censorship is the key for the future.
Yep.
These are public utilities. They need to be designated as public utilities
Yep.
because people are getting banned that shouldn't be getting banned. Freedom of speech is getting taken
Well,
away
why
from
is the
us.
West good?
I don't give a shit if Obama's in jail or Hillary's in jail. That does nothing for us going forward.
Yeah, I don't have a heart on like get them.
Me neither.
Just get off my back.
Censorship, exactly, is my big issue.
Well, and think about it. 800 years since the Magna Carta. That's what all this comes out of. 15 Runnymede. 800 years of
Robin
fighting
Hood.
and dying.
Yeah.
Millions and millions and millions. Declaration of Independence, Constitution, Bill of Rights. All of this, people say, oh, yeah, America. No, this was literally paid for 800 years of war. And then now it's being flushed down the toilet in a matter of months, and you see the repercussions. No, people wanted to come here because the idea was paying off.
Right.
We never fully expressed it, but the 5% expression was badass. Let's express the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, particularly relative to the other countries around. What he's talking about is absolutely correct. The Magna Carta 1215 led to to Gaul turning into France. First of all, it also led to France developing democracy. Right? And the idea of individual expression at the government level, at the federal level, became a thing at that point.
And that led to the Gutenberg Press 500 years ago. That led to the whole Reformation. That led to the Enlightenment. That led to the Renaissance. It led to everything.
Yeah, I agree. We're going to move on to Georgia now. Georgia. Now, this was Stacey Abrams, who they stole the election from her, which they did not. Brian Kemp won that state fair and square. They're saying this could be up in the middle. I do not see that. I'm from Georgia. I've got Trump for Georgia as well.
No, I agree. Trump's going to win all this, but the fraud.
Right.
What are they going to do on paper?
We'll see.
Well, he's up half a point right now.
Yep.
So we'll see, right?
Yeah.
We'll see.
We will see.
Sponsor's wine is quite delicious. No, it's some good wine.
I like he's
wine,
moved over
Montreal.
to Jared's mic, which is
Just
the
sit.
best.
You sit in Jared's lap. I'll bring my girl over here. So you sit in mine. How
Yeah,
about
why
that?
not? Why not?
I'll sit in his lap.
There it is. There it is. Let Papa.
Coming out of the closet right now.
There it is. Let Papa Jones.
go.
on
Only a
your
little
lap.
too
There
much
it
here,
is.
buddy.
This is a first.
That's like
Oh,
Santa.
yeah. This is fine. I'll sit on the way.
This is a first.
There we go. Get her over here. All right,
American
I did
history.
it. Get me the woman now.
Oh, next up. Now here's where it gets murky.
Have the dude's lap and see the girl sitting in his.
Why not? It's fine. It's fine. That's Drinkin Bros. That is classic Drinkin Bros right there. Next up, we've got Ohio. Now, Ohio, they say, is a swing state. I think Ohio, especially because of Ohio State and the Big Ten football. Ohio, I've got all for Trump, by the way.
No, I agree. People are that big football thing was a big win for Trump.
Huge.
He's also maintained a pretty not entirely since the beginning of the year, but mostly maintained a lead within the margin of error, of course, for the entire year. Now that football is back, he's going to be fine.
Hey,
He's got
ratings go up when your girlfriend sits in your lap.
I know
It does. It does. Maine.
Does that make you his girlfriend then, or how does that work?
Well, don't lie. We've been dating for a while.
Oh shit,
Long
Jared,
time.
you never tell me anything.
I'm sorry. I mean, we had NDAs.
Oh, that's true. He's probably got a whole fucking
I'm
file
carrying
cabinet
his
full of
baby
MBAs.
right now.
Oh shit.
It's made of cheeseburger.
We're gonna name it cheeseburger.
Yeah, you should. Maine, I got Democrat.
Actually, Maine is it might turn into a purple state this year.
Really?
We'll see. Yeah,
Yeah, I think Maine is in play.
there's some pretty decent. I mean, like the national polls have it way up, but I think it might not necessarily purple. But
It's
I
the
think
new Massachusetts.
yeah,
I've
I
done-
think it might be more 53, like
Are
47.
you saying it's
level.
going for the Democrats or for the Republicans?
For the Republican?
Really?
Yeah.
So I think Democrats. I'm gonna go Maine for
Democrats will definitely win Maine for sure, but I think it's going to be closer than what the national polling says by a wide margin.
All right, but for the sake of the show, I'm saying Maine Democrats.
sure, yes.
I'll
North.
say this: I got a lot of family that were Democrats for social reasons, thinking they're liberals and they care about, they see through it now. They're all Republicans. Most of my family are Republicans. But I got a lot of Democrat family. They're all Republicans now.
Look, I hope so. Next up, we got North Carolina. Now we just moved from North Carolina. North Carolina, I have
Bringing you in a
Republican,
Brit.
and I think it's going to be close.
Well, here's the funny thing about that. Somewhere early in the election or in this cycle, the polling cycle, North Carolina had a lead outside of the margin of error, and that lead is gone, and now it flip flops back and forth in the margin of error, right?
Yeah.
Roy Cooper is very unpopular.
I fucking hate Roy Cooper.
Very
more than life
unpopular in North
itself,
Carolina,
yes.
and you know how it is, right?
Yeah.
People get that idea and they start voting on one side of the ticket. I think North Carolina goes for Trump. Frankly,
I agree.
really
Who
do.
do you got, Alex Jones? North Carolina.
I'm going to defer to your expertise.
Yes, I'm telling you, it is going to be the way that Roy Cooper has handled this fucking pandemic. It is going to be North Carolina by a fucking landslide. Not a landslide, but they've probably got it at 1 or 2 points. I think he wins by 4 or 5 in that. Jared Taylor is not drinking. So we had to bring in a Brit, much the way we've brought in John Oliver.
Hello.
We've got Danny Warsnop, the lead singer of Asking Alexandria here. This is a big show today. Danny.
Hi.
American politics.
Yes.
Does Trump or Biden win?
Just all of it?
All of it.
I think Trump's going to take it. I've kind of been going back and forth on kind of where my head's at. On it, it's mainly out of
Well,
just
here's the thing.
absolute
Let me stop you real
terror
quick.
of what happens afterwards either way.
You're one of the biggest rock stars in the world. Does it hurt your fan base if you say Trump or Biden? If it does, don't say it.
Well, it definitely does either way. Because people have naturally very strong opinions on the matter. So
Yes.
if I say either, regardless of it's
Just
which
say
one,
Donald Trump sucks because we'll forgive you. Alex Jones is a piece of shit.
it's
We all know what you really mean. Just say, fuck Trump. Fuck him, goddamn fucking piece of shit. And fuck Alex Jones. I love Jeff Bezos. Bezos.
There was a lot of pushback when it came out that I wasn't just he's not a Democrat. And people are like, no,
Because they expect all musicians to be Democrats.
because I'm in the entertainment industry, so it's expected.
Yeah.
The truth is they're almost all libertarians. I mean, Republicans, what I know. They don't want to be made to be anything. That's what I've seen.
Individualistic
So let me do
artists,
whatever the fuck I want.
individualistic artists that
Go
like
together.
that they want to have their drugs and their booze,
Yes.
and their ability to not pay exorbitant amount of taxes and express themselves freely.
Yeah.
Now, why would that intrinsically be Democrat? That doesn't make sense, right? Like, what element out of that says Democrat to you?
I don't know, because Danny, you're in the music industry, they rape you for every last dollar you have.
Oh my God!
Therefore,
dude.
you want to keep all of your money and
Not
not
to
just
keep it.
give it away like the Democrats.
If you want to buy a
you
license to a piece of music, how many actual individual? If it's a major piece of music,
How many middlemen?
how many people do you have
God.
to talk to just to license that music?
No.
It's like 4, 5, 6 people.
For a regular person, okay, me, the artist
Yeah.
who wrote and recorded and released the music, I'm not even allowed to play my own music
That's
on
true.
certain live streams that I am doing, and I'm the only person on.
That is true. Yes.
Atlantic Records, I tried to play some of the Harlot stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and Atlantic Records said, no, you're not allowed. Like, it's mine.
We hired a rapper for a movie of ours, and the song that was actually
Holy
in it
shit.
that the rapper sang and wrote, we had to pay Universal for the rights to that song.
UMG,
He
yeah.
got nothing from it. Nothing. Next up, we got Arizona here. Arizona, I still have Trump.
I do, but barely because of fraud.
Really?
There's just so much fraud everywhere, but yeah.
I've got Arizona's Trump. D'Anthony, what do you got?
Arizona's an interesting one, actually. It's polling Biden right now, but the numbers
It
don't.
is,
The,
but I
the
said Trump.
number,
I don't believe that.
The
I don't
numbers,
either. I said
the
Trump.
num-
That means they're going to try to steal it.
Yes.
the numbers don't add up. But here's the difference between Arizona and other states, right? Any state. Texas is a red state, typically, except for Austin, and maybe some Dallas-Fort Worth area places, but it's typically red. Arizona is red, and even in the fucking major cities, almost everybody I know, and I'm not a conservative guy. I don't like hang out with a bunch of Republicans or nothing. Most of the people I know that live in Arizona, I know that's anecdotal, but sometimes that makes sense.
People you
all
knew that
con-
were neutral are now Republican.
they're conservative because of the economy, right?
Right.
Arizona only gives a shit. They don't care about any social issues at all. All they care about is the economy, right? So if you can be tricked into thinking that COVID caused or that COVID didn't cause the bad economy, the shutdown and stuff like that.
Yeah,
didn't
no
cause
one
it.
buys that.
No, I don't think any smart voter is
Exactly.
going to believe
That's the
that.
key to this whole takeaway. The Democrats' attempt to say it's Trump's fault the economy was the Chinese virus.
Right.
It never sold. It didn't sell. Like,
I don't
it's
think
the
it-
Trump virus. It's the American
Yeah.
virus.
No, never
I don't think
sold.
it held either. I think liberals look. It's a silent majority, right? Over and over again in American politics. You watch the news media every day, and back in the day, by the way, the news media wasn't complicit, and still the silent majority was a thing. Now, how much bigger is the silent majority now that the news media is clearly complicit in this stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree, and I've got Arizona for Trump.
Yeah.
Now we have Danny Warsnop on the show. This is his home state. This is Florida.
Yeah, you were born in Florida, right?
Florida. Born in Florida. This accent is Florida raised. No, but
London, Florida.
but you just bought a house there. You live in
I did.
Florida. You were all out of Florida. You and your wife live there.
Yes.
What do you think Florida is going to be? Because this is one of the biggest states. I have it for Trump.
I think it's Trump.
Okay, you do.
Oh, it's going to be Trump, but again, that's where we're going to see maximum fraud is Florida. I think the whole election hinges on Florida.
It's one of the oldest states.
Why do you
right?
think that's one of the targets?
Because it's one of the oldest
It's got
states.
so many. It's got so many.
Elderly people, like
Yeah,
a lot.
exactly. They can make people
Yeah.
vote, and it's got so many delegates. It's got so many numbers.
It does.
So
29,
we had Matt Gaetz on the show last week.
Yep. He's one of the best debaters in all of Congress.
Great
by the way.
podcast guest, by the way. I don't know if you've had him on your show, but he's
He
great.
was on a long time ago. He had big trouble coming on, so he won't do it anymore.
Oh, really?
He's a very smart cookie.
Yes. Yeah, he was great on the show last
He's
week.
one of the smartest guys in DC. in
And
my
then
opinion.
Laura Loomer's out of there, and she won her primary, and I think she's going to win in
It's an uphill battle there in Broward County, but I think she can do it.
I do too. Therefore, I think it's Trump. I think Florida's Trump easy.
No, I agree. He's going to win bigger than last time.
Yes.
But I mean, the fraud is going to be spectacular.
Here's what I know about Florida. One, there's a lot of dissidents from various countries, mostly in Central America or the islands, right?
Right.
They come from communism. They can smell it. They can fucking smell it, dude.
I was about
You
to
think
say,
somebody
we're
that
seeing numbers of up to 65% of Hispanics in Florida voting Trump.
Yeah.
So that's got to scare the left. That's why they're going for
they're
fraud.
going to go
Because,
go
the
hard.
Cubans
in
are all
Florida.
like, my dad warned me. I didn't listen to him. This is communism. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And
See,
maybe
that's why I'm thinking it's a little. It feels like it'd be too obvious of a place to try the
Maybe.
fraud thing, where it'd be well, no one buys it.
I
Maybe.
agree.
But we might not. They could sucker Texas and do fraud here. So I think Texas is way Trump. But I'm thinking we're looking at Florida. They can attack Texas.
if you're looking at Texas and you look at Ted Cruz versus Beto a couple years ago, right?
Right.
And you
Ted
say
Cruz barely won.
it was
Correct.
It was what 1.8 points or something like
It
that.
was very
pretty
close,
close.
and
Closer than it should have been. And look, Ted Cruz at the time wasn't as popular as he is now, and that affects things. And
Still major fraud.
midterm elections have low turnout, and low turnout is usually good news for Republicans. So it's like
Yeah. No, the
That's
Democrats
weird.
legitimately believe through fraud they can take Texas.
Yeah.
Because they have the big cities, they can funnel in the fake votes.
right. But with Florida, honestly, Trump could have won easily by just nominating Barbara Lagoa for the Supreme Court.
He should have. That was a bad move.
I don't understand why he didn't do it. In my opinion, based on all the evidence, I don't care about the age. Based
but
on
he does.
Based on all the information available, they're equal candidates for that position.
Well, nothing against this Barrett lady, except because she's adopted black kids and they're attacking her for that. I don't think she's a good woman, but I think she has an authoritarian streak. I don't think she's a bad person, but she supported the Jacobson decision just 2 months ago when the whole Supreme Court went against her. That's lockdowns, that's forced inoculations, that's martial law. And so she supported in a ruling a Jacobson's decision to keep a state lockdown. So now with her, the court goes towards a permanent lockdown. If we'd have got the other woman out of
Lagoa,
Lagoa, she was against that.
Yeah, and look, I think Trump did it because of age. She's the second youngest ever, and I think he wants that seat for 30, 40 years. Like
for sure, but look, here's the deal with that bullshit. The Democrats have already proposed a bill now, and if they
stack the deck,
it's a stack it.
the court
to go to 13 or
no. Well, that's one of them. Here's the one that's important, and I don't necessarily think it's a bad idea. I think this should be a bipartisan deal. They want to fucking limit the term of a SCOTUS judge to 18 years. I think that's great. Fuck yes.
So they're not senile.
Why the hell?
I agree.
Why the hell would that be a lifetime appointment?
Yeah, why would it be an imperial?
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And what other position in America do we lifetime appoint somebody? That is
No, I agree. I like term
bullshit.
limits. I like 18 years?
18 years. That's what they want.
And that way, every term, somebody can appoint 2 people.
Right.
yes,
Yep.
correct.
So that makes sense. But packing the court, I don't like that.
I don't like it
Where
either.
Democrats go, because next, okay, we're going to put 4 more. And Republicans go, we're going to 20-something. We're going to put, there's 100 members.
Right.
It's like,
The idea that especially today in 2020, that one of these very fucking spread apart partisan political parties, one of them has figured it out more than the other one is probably unlikely, right? Like there's the communist influence, the Marxist influence of the left now, and there's plenty of shit on the right as well.
that's just the globalist poison to shut us down.
Yeah, it's just nonsense. So the idea that one party has gotten it right, that we knew everything we need to know about ethics and government at some point and that they just figured it out. No, it's an ongoing conversation because the situation changes. If the situation changes, our response to it has to change.
But here's the problem, and this is a compliment, but it's backhanded. You can't project your intelligence onto this. I watch Democrat podcasts that get millions of views every day. I watch them. They literally act dumb. They act confident. They don't even know the material. They take one thing out of context, lie about what we're saying.
Right.
And their people believe this. So it's almost like intelligence is now a negative because if I was like, you're dumbass, like idiocracy, they go, yeah, I'll tell you, Trump got big dick, Biden don't. Then they go, oh, I'm going to vote for that. I mean, it's like so dumb now that you can't even deal with it.
Right.
So you're up here. This guy knows what he's talking about. You guys, I'm impressed. This is like a smart show. You guys know research. Every point I make, he already knows it. You already know it. Oh, you're a little wrong about that. I'm wrong about this. We actually know what we're fucking doing.
But that conversation,
these people don't know fucking anything. They fucking think we're white supremacists.
That conversation is so important. Like the idea, like the cancel culture thing. We talk about this on the show all the time. It's so problematic because
They're idiots.
you have to be able to express a bad idea in public and then have it faced in public. You be corrected. You accept that correction.
Exactly, but they say they're
and move
shutting
on
us
with your
down
life.
to stop bad ideas, which exactly will be repudiated. No, it's because they're winning ideas, because we actually know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Bad ideas.
Pisses me off, man.
Bad ideas only get exposed in public, though.
Yeah.
They never get exposed in private.
There it is, right behind the Jason.
That guy's trying to stab you back there. Where's your security guy?
Damn right. Damn right. Hiya! He just punched Michael Myers in the face.
You ever seen me? I can
By the way, I never gave a prediction on Florida. Trump will win Florida,
I agree.
and handily so, I think.
I agree.
Because, again,
If you can't see this in the master,
humping-
Giorgio, Alex Jones is trying to hump Michael Myers.
No, that's not gay. That's just to establish dominance. I mean, it makes sense. If you can establish dominance over Michael Myers, I feel like that's like a dog peeing on the highest mountain.
I agree.
You own the entire world at that point, right?
Nah, you're on it. You're
That
on
makes
it.
sense to me.
So we've all got Florida. Next up is Pennsylvania. This is the state that I missed in 2016, and I am still torn on it to this very day. Now, had Trump not gone on during the debate and say bad things happen in Philadelphia, I would have said Pennsylvania for Trump. I don't know.
I think
this go
Biden wins
around.
Pennsylvania, and here's why I think that. they have more libertarian support, at least in the polling, than any other state in the union right
So
now.
that might cut out of Trump.
Yeah, and it's coming from Trump's camp mostly. So there's a couple of different kind of polls. Usually the polls are head to head Biden.
You
Trump.
get that?
I'm like, it's like when
Do you use karate?
Obama's like, look at that, I killed that fly, I'm a ninja.
Seriously, Alex
Only
Jones.
studied
Oh, look at that.
Alex
There you go.
Jones just caught a fly by its wing.
Caught it and then freed it.
You just me. I'll
After
be
I defeated Michael Myers.
He didn't murder that fly either.
No, the fly still lives. Want to point that out for you too.
That was
the fly
good.
lived. Pennsylvania. Who do you got?
I've got Biden.
I've got Biden as well.
And it's for the reason I said there's so much libertarian support out there, and most of that libertarian. If you think about
But don't they get their sapping that away?
maybe we'll see.
Who do you
Maybe.
have? Who do you have? Pennsylvania. That's a big
I have
one.
Michael Myers.
Well, if you can't take a
Is
fictional
Crystal Lake in
horror
Pennsylvania?
character,
I don't
who
know
do you
where it
got?
is.
I'm not that smart, but I do think you guys are right. That's one of the battleground states where Biden could actually win.
I agree. Next up is Wisconsin. Now, Nate Silver has this going for Biden. Actually, have this going for Trump.
Yeah, it's going for Trump.
100% going for Trump. Like,
Look,
there's no doubt in my mind.
Even during the so I was part of the when I
think
talk.
Kenosha lost it for him.
Yeah, Kenosha.
Yes.
Yeah. When I say I worked in politics back in the day, what I worked on was the recall election against Scott Walker in 2012, right?
Oh, wow.
And I was there. I was actually helping a buddy of mine run for office out there for lieutenant governor. It was a statewide election. So I helped run a statewide election in Wisconsin. The people there care about a lot of stuff. Here's what they don't like. They don't like disingenuous bullshit.
Right.
They're fucking hardworking blue collar people, regardless of what they believe. And that's why it's a swing state, because they listen to what people are saying and they respond to it. That's a normal human being way to act, by the way. If you're in a state
Rationality.
if you're in a state that's 65-70% Democrat, then you're fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't be like that. You should individually be 50-50. I don't give a fuck about these parties. What's right? Tell me what's right. And Wisconsin's really good at figuring out what's right.
So I go back to this. What are Democrats going to do when they lose? Woo!
Well, that's what I was saying at first, where it's kind of a lose-lose either way for the sense of just the average American, where this is going to be a shit show regardless of what happens.
Shit show either way. Yeah.
Because as much as I would as much as we'd hope that if the left wins, the right would be like, well, looks like we're going to get to work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of fucking petty people in the world.
A lot of petty people.
And I think there's a lot of people who are going to be like, well, you fucked with us for the last 4 years.
We're going to fuck
How
with
do you like it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look,
And there's gonna be
We'll take a piss. We'll be right back.
Yeah.
go
it's just going to be
Let's clap it here.
a whole bunch of petty people and then we end up in a spiral. And I mean, if the right wins, I mean, we've just had 4 years of seeing what the left
It's been
enjoys
a
doing
matter
that.
of escalation, right? Because I think it kind of started with the right. I think all the the stuff in the mid '90s with Gingrich, he was acting kind of like a cunt for a while, but really it was about that. I think. Then it led to the blame Bush shit.
Mm-hmm.
Then it led to thanks Obama.
Yeah.
And now it's Trump derangement syndrome. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just constantly been escalating over the years. And I think you're right, probably. Like, there's going to be, maybe it's rhetoric, maybe it's actual violence on the streets, but it's going to be something for sure. They're not going to take it sitting down. If Trump wins, there's going to be a new impeachment trial for sure.
Oh, yeah,
unless the Republicans take the House, which is not likely.
Yeah, and let me ask you this, Danny. Have you been overseas and heard what the reaction is to Trump over here? Because I have not, so I have no idea.
Yes, and it's...
Is it like Boris Johnson? Like, because we hear about Boris Johnson over here, and
No.
he seems crazy.
I think a lot of it is exposure, and it's the same as over here. It depends which side you're on and which side of the media you're getting to see. Because there's some people who you go over and it's Trump's an idiot and the kind of
Right.
general rhetoric there. But there's also, I mean, I've flown around the world a lot over the last 4 years and even more recently, and there's still a lot of people who don't have any issue with him at all. And the vast
that's what I
majority
thought, but I
of
didn't
people
know, yeah.
don't fucking care.
Yeah,
Most
don't
people
care.
don't care. Most people
And
don't
honestly,
care. And
traveling around the U.S., it's a very similar thing.
Yeah.
most people don't care, and the people that do care, they care about results. Like, if you're, let me ask you this. Let's say you're a professional football coach, right? And there's a guy who's like, I don't know, it's OBJ.
Yeah.
He likes to get pooped on,
He had a great game today.
but he's catching passes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you really care about the pooped on thing? So
No.
if Trump is making the best economy in the history of Black America, what's the impetus to care that he says stupid shit sometimes? You know what I mean? Like the optics of saying stupid shit is bad, but all the results seem to be pretty decent.
Yeah, I
So
think
where's
I think
that,
it's
and
an inherent
I'm not a
flaw
Trump
in the
supporter, by
job.
the way. I'm not a Trump supporter, and by any means, I think the fact that he uses the bully pulpit to say dumb and vague shit a lot causes real damage.
Yeah.
I really believe it does. But national security and all that stuff, the economy, the trade wars with China and shit like that.
I beat up the guy from Halloween.
I couldn't be more impressed.
Couldn't be more impressed. Yeah.
I like that you're wearing a Lone Star shirt too, by the way. That's classic Texas.
See some of this?
Oh man, can we go Jack Mandeville and write big cums on that or what?
I just met Jack for the first time the
nice.
other day, and it took me eyeballing in a parking lot for about 5
I
minutes
didn't infuse
before I
water.
realized it was him because he was wearing a shirt and both his shoes.
And
You shouldn't.
nothing written on his stomach. It was weird,
shouldn't
right?
at
I was
all.
like, it kind of looks like Jack. Does Jack have a brother who wears shirts?
You'll never see a person more uncomfortable in your life other than these two examples. One is Nixon sweating at the presidential debates. What was it, 64?
1960.
64
Yeah.
60? It was 60. And then the other one was Dakota Meyer sitting next to Jack Mandeville while he's shirtless with a mask on and big cums written on his chest.
What the hell was that?
Medal of Honor recipient Dakota Meyer.
Kind of hanging
I
out.
know who he is, but why does he big cum?
Well,
No, it was the other
It's-
guy.
It was another guest on our show who
He's an
who
actor.
decided to take off his shirt and write
Yeah.
big cums all over his chest.
Yeah.
And or stomach.
Stomach,
And,
yeah.
very
Like-
very
basically
reminiscent
like-
of Tupac
like
You
Shakur.
know,
Thug life,
Dakota's
yeah.
in Austin, flies around his helicopter.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
he
he's-
flies here.
Yeah, he flies here.
Yeah,
To
so
that field
he's
right
one of
there.
our best friends. So
Yeah.
he flew our children last weekend at a barbecue. Like we were at his
awesome.
And
house.
he and
It's
I are
best.
starting a show that's going to debut soon. It's called the American Party Podcast.
Correct. And they've already
it's
shot
about
5
I heard about
episodes.
that.
Yes.
And the maniac that trained him how to fly helicopter, Shane Steiner.
Yeah,
yeah.
yes,
Yep.
yeah, same guys.
Yeah.
Next up, we got Nevada
I
here.
went to high school with that guy.
Jared found burgers.
Another
somehow.
cheeseburger?
Hey, Jared's got
You said it. No, I
cheeseburgers
don't
for
say
the
cheeseburger.
election
Is
show.
this for me?
Is it really?
No.
I would
You need
say
this. Who's this for?
Look at this.
that's for you.
That's for you. Well, I'll take it if you don't want it, though.
Jared said he got spares.
There it is. Boom.
I feel like if any time during the day, within not a 24-hour period, but let's say the 16 hours in the day that he's awake, if you ask Jared if he has a cheeseburger on his
He'll
person,
have it. He'll have it.
75% chance he's got a cheeseburger on.
Cheeseburger addict.
Or he's en route to get one.
Yeah.
And this is not, well, actually, that was kind of hyperbole, but this is not hyperbole. I've been on the way to a dinner with him, and he's like, hey, I got to make a stop. I'm like, he's got to.
What's more satisfying, a good piece of ass or a cheeseburger?
Oh.
They kind of like
You can
enter
do
the
both
same-
at the same time.
Dude, I'm banging while you're eating a cheeseburger.
Yeah, there you go.
The best.
Yeah,
if,
it's the
if
best.
you're going doggy and they're eating a cheeseburger afterwards and they can't see you
by
enjoying the burger,
Yes.
it's the best.
By the way, you've experienced this too. We're on the way to dinner, and
Yes.
he's like, hey, I got to make a stop. And then
Multiple times.
His stop is at either a gas station to get food or like McDonald's to get a burger.
yeah. Every
Like,
single
dude, no,
time.
we're going to dinner now. He's like, yeah, but they're going to take this amount of time to get the food out. And to be honest, his logic is sound.
It's hors d'oeuvre.
It's
Yes.
going to be 45 to an
You know,
hour and a
an hors
half
d'oeuvre
before you
makes
actually get
wanna eat
food.
more later.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. That's what he does.
An hors d'oeuvre.
An hors d'oeuvre. I want to get to Nevada.
Secret
You guys
genius.
gotta come over to my house. We'll cook hamburgers.
What's
Yeah.
that? We'll do it.
Jared Taylor, secret genius.
Jared's in.
What
Nevada.
kind of
Who-
whiskey are we gonna
I
drink?
don't,
who do you
I don't,
got?
I don't think there's much of a question in Nevada after they tried to shut it down.
I
at the
agree.
beginning
I was gonna
of
say,
this.
Trump's
I think
really concerned
that
about fraud in
changed
Nevada.
anything.
He
But
is, for sure.
I think Nevada's Trump.
Honestly, he.
Well, yeah, there's a real election, but there's major fraud there.
Trump is he's down in the polling about 5.5%, 6%. in
Still
Nevada.
got him.
Here's the thing though. All those fucking people in Nevada that
drunk.
want they like money. That's what they
And
like.
Trump wants to reopen Vegas.
Yes.
So how would you go with the Democrats that never want to reopen it?
Like here, that's a very good point. Here's one of the things that people are missing about this whole election. It's a referendum on opening up the states again.
100%.
Right.
In fact, the whole
Nobody
election, at the start of
is
the show,
talking about that.
the whole election is about a referendum on reopening America.
Correct.
Yeah, it really
Correct.
is. And all these states that are service economy based, like Nevada, I don't know,
The
Nevada.
sponsor's terrible.
Nevada.
I get 6 bottles for $25.
I know.
I'm ordering.
Firstly,
Well, it's
we've
30,
we've had 6 bottles
Either
in the show
way,
already.
keep drinking.
6 bottles.
It's the best.
6 bottles for $30. You
Gone.
test them out. You write notes on it. They send you back
$30.
what they think you're going to like the best, and you do it again.
Tryfirstleaf.com/Drinkin
of all time,
Bros. So
I'm
we
telling
all have Nevada. The next up is the biggest one, in my opinion, for the whole election.
I think
It's
Nevada.
Michigan.
I think Nevada's the biggest
Oh,
upset.
you think Michigan be the swing?
Yes. Who do you have in Michigan? That is the biggest swing, in my opinion.
You have that demon governor that just got overridden in
Correct.
the Supreme Court.
And Michigan and Michigan State football were threatened forever by her personally to the fucking coaches.
But while she still goes out on boats and does everything 6 months ago.
Correct. So I think Michigan goes for Trump.
Here's why I think you're right. I think you're right because 3 months ago, Trump didn't look great in Michigan. He was still near the margin of error, but it was a little bit towards the fucking Democratic side. Now he's gained up all that ground, and they're literally within 1 point in the margin of error at this point. And that's not a good sign for Democrats, to be honest. It's also not a good sign that Whitmer just lost that case. It's not a good sign that she's wildly unpopular.
She looks evil.
Yeah.
Like every looks like.
Yeah.
Imagine you're like.
You think she's one of those dragons?
I don't know, but she's like.
What's the dragon's name?
Her face is frozen in time because of the
Talking about
Botox.
like in like Game of Thrones.
No,
Yeah.
like the dragon that you did the last time you were on the show. What was it? Like you've got
Globestar
that. You got
yeah.
that Chinese dragon.
Fentanyl.
There it is. There it is. Yeah.
I have one American.
Yeah. So I
You're
look,
not obeying time soon now. Thank you. We watch Biotech One Lab. Democrats do a good job for us.
she's all jacked up on Botox.
Dude, she looks
that's what it is.
crazy.
Crazy. She looks
I mean,
crazy.
why? Dude, I want to be able to look as crazy as that. Like the governor of California looks like the real American
God.
Psycho.
I know.
Brian Stelter. Like, imagine like you walk in to buy a car. Here's your salesman. Hi, I'm Brian Stelter. I mean, they're like, the faces they make, dude, I would run.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
if I show up at somebody's party, everybody had faces like that, I'd leave. Like, these people don't look normal, dude. Imagine all day walking around like this. Because I watch their press conferences, even them like at events on C-SPAN, when they're in a crowd, they'll walk around like, hello, hi.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like, who the fuck acts like that, man? I mean, if I walked in here, you guys are really cool. If I walked in here, you're all like, going, hey, how's it going? Hey, I'd be like,
Do they not have some kind of person on staff or who's hired in when they're running to kind of teach them how to be
That's
around
it.
people?
None of them
Like,
have
there's no
any
comfortability
self-awareness.
training or anything.
None of them have self-awareness.
No.
You'd think that'd be a vital fucking part of being a
Because
politician.
they look like crazy aliens, man.
Yes, all of them.
Like rubber-faced aliens. Like, this is what aliens run like a human on. It's like, well, Brian Stelter's always like, all
Yeah.
of them.
Speaking of crazy aliens, next up is Minnesota. Ilhan Omar Estates. Who do you got in Minnesota?
I think it goes Democrat because of fraud.
I think it goes Republican for Trump. I got Trump on this one. Who you got, Dan?
I've got Trump in Minnesota. Yeah, I think it's going to be that in Nebraska. Like Nebraska or Nevada rather are the two biggest upsets in this election. I
hope you're right.
I
I
think
think
agree.
Trump does win.
I agree.
I think people have a sense that.
Dude, the election fraud, though. They already caught him. I mean,
we'll see. Yeah, in Minnesota. Yeah, I think, but that shines a light on. I think that's why. So people are pretty much. I think, in my
is
opinion,
Ilhan Omar not sexy?
no.
I'm joking. You talk about arrogance, the faces she makes.
I know.
It's like I come from this really shitty country. I came here and experienced her freedom.
They saved her saved her tribe, and now she hates it.
Now I'm going to tell you how to fucking be
Live
more
your
like
life.
the shitty country that I left. Like, no, that's not how it works.
We're not taking rules from Somalia.
Can you imagine a homeless person? You invite him into your house for dinner. Like, you know what? I really wouldn't have put those flowers there. You know what? You dude, you get the fuck out.
You know,
How
your
about
rug looks like, I'm going to shit on the floor inside the bathroom.
that? Well, this is not San Francisco. This is Minnesota.
It
so.
isn't, but I like the person that took a shit in front of Pelosi's house. Because you can do that. It's not against the law. He was not charged.
By the way-
Colorado's up next.
Well, before you get to
Should that be a
Colorado,
pilgrimage? We all go shit on our house?
Bro, we talked about it on this show. That was a
it's
Super Bowl
technically-
bet. I was going to do it.
It is technically decriminalized.
Well, yeah, because the red diaper doper baby in San Francisco, I know she doesn't live there full time, but he's a weatherman baby. He said you can crap.
You can. You're allowed. Yeah. You're not going to.
So a new,
It's
like,
not
instead of the
enforceable by the
Hajj,
police anymore.
going to Mecca, we go to her house, take a shit.
Yes, and everyone should do that. I think that would be great.
All right, I'm announcing this here on Drinkin Bros. I'm not kidding. I'm getting a private jet. I'm flying in. I'm shitting on her front door.
You can do it. So the guy did it on the sidewalk right in front of her house because it was public property, and there's nothing they could do about it. So if you want to take a shit in front of Nancy Pelosi's house, while you're there, you might as well shit in front of the Mrs. Doubtfire house just because you're a Robin Williams fan. Give it a go. Give it a go. Colorado, who do you got, Dan?
Colorado, I think Biden's going to win that by 5 points probably.
It's
I agree.
that blue now. It used to be red 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I
it used
think
to be.
here's the reason I think it's because
California's emptied out into there.
it has
Yes.
but
A lot of people
I
going
also,
to Denver.
I also think the governor of Colorado, who is kind of he reminds me of fucking Moonbeam from fucking California, to be honest. But one of the things he did just recently actually was aside from the decriminalization of weed and mushrooms and shit like that, he just passed a situation where all the people that are in prison and historically have been in prison for weed-related offenses only, non-violent stuff, under a certain amount, I think it's like 1 ounce or 2 ounces or something like that, expunged. They're out of jail. They're out of prison. Their fucking record's clean after that. And that's what Trump should have done. I thought that was going to be.
That's the right.
I thought it was going to be the October
Trump
surprise.
tried that, but he didn't get any support for it.
He didn't know, but I think that should be the October surprise. I think everybody that's
What does Michael Myers think?
he's definitely high. for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. He's definitely
he's on
pro-Trump
it.
because he's got weapons.
Something
but,
like 30% of all the people in state-run prisons are in prison for some kind of nonviolent marijuana-related offense.
I agree. Let
That is
nonviolence out.
absolutely ridiculous. Only 5% of federal prison inmates are in prison for a violent offense.
I didn't know
5%.
5%, yeah.
This came, I think it was in USA Today or,
No, I knew it was a very low
or the
percentage.
Post earlier. Or,
And they
this
actually
week.
go there and become more criminals.
5%. 5% of the people in federal prison are in there for some violent offense. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, what are we doing here?
But now the left wants to let violence out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is hilarious. That whole organization
COVID, brother.
that's bailing people out
Yeah.
of jail, that are fucking like setting Minneapolis police departments on fire. That's probably not a good idea, right?
Not at all. Not at all.
Do you think between the riots and stuff that's going to swing a lot of states?
I
Yes.
do. And that'll...
People are
And
tired
why
of
did
bullshit.
the Democrats and George Soros think funding riots would make them win? Because they did that.
By the way,
I think initially, right, it seemed like the right thing to do of like, all right, great. If we turn this whole country into chaos, absolute fucking
Soros
chaos.
is an opportunist.
Right.
At
Day
most.
in and day out, you're like, oh my God, we got to get him out of here. Then it turned like, holy shit, we still live in America.
like, whoops.
There's no way that we're accepting violence on the streets
But
for
the
100 plus
the entire
days in Portland or
the,
Seattle.
the entire world knows it, and that's why no fucking army in history has tried to do a direct ground attack in the United States, because they know two things. One, we've got standoff, we've got the oceans. Number two, like there's fucking 300-400 million guns in this country,
Admiral
and people
Yamamoto
that know how to
said
use
behind
them.
every grain of every blade of grass is a gun.
Yes.
Right.
A rifle. So the big question is, has the Second Amendment not won? Suddenly leftists are out buying guns everywhere. I go to these gun shops, they go, yeah, the left's sitting here trying to get guns. So haven't they like joined us now? Like suddenly, even though they're still against us, now they admit they need guns.
One would hope. So everybody who talked to us when we moved to Austin, Texas said the same thing, right? They said, hey man, we're happy you're here. If the rest of your friends from LA and all that shit come here, tell them one thing. Tell them not to bring their politics with them. And I think that's the issue is
Don't California my Texas, I believe is the
yes.
phrase. Yeah.
And the problem with that is like, dude, you see and hear everything on the news. You go out and buy guns and ammo because you want to protect yourself, but then you're going to go out and vote completely differently.
I don't think they will,
the
though.
fuck is your problem?
Yeah, but
here's-
good people emptying out of California is not the problem. I think the bad are kind of staying. What are they going to do?
Yeah, they're going to be poor in like 2 or 3
Let
years.
it be their own country.
Right?
Let them
Yeah,
burn it.
Let them go.
Let the whole country
By the way, just
go.
in 2020 alone,
California.
there's 5 million first-time gun owners. So the projections from government,
Self-defense understanding is awakening.
it's a big deal. Yeah. So
Isn't the Second Amendment awakening the model of teaching capitalism and free market in America?
One
we can
would
win
hope.
on guns.
Yeah.
We can win on every other
One would
issue.
hope, but I think most of the liberals hide their guns and say, "Dude, I don't have them.
Yeah.
I don't do that."
maybe,
But you know what
look,
I'm saying? Where
the,
it's
the,
just
the,
like,
the
it's like
supposi-
Trump voters not coming out and saying it's a silent majority.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's a silent majority on the left to say, "Dude, I've got guns." Shh.
Yeah.
Hey, I've
Don't
got a
tell
gun.
anybody.
Because they're all
Got a gun.
because- no, I agree. People say, is there secret Trump voters? It's way beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like half the liberals aren't liberals. They just do it for business. Half of them.
yeah. So
It's all fake.
Yeah.
the supposition before 2020 was there's something like 350 to 400 million guns in the U.S. and they're only owned by about 30 to 35 million people, right? Like they own all the guns, that 30 to 35 million people. Now, maybe that's true, maybe it's not. I don't think it's true. But if there's a documented 5 million new gun owners in this country just this year, and that other data is true, that means 15 to 20% of all gun owners bought their first gun this year,
Right.
right? That's fucking crazy.
Crazy.
That's an insane stat. Here's the other stat. The most
Okay, I'm addicted to the show now.
There it
Second
is. Look at
cheeseburger.
that.
More burgers.
Sanders bringing in burgers and fries.
Thank you.
Is that more Pete Terry's?
They want
Yeah, it is.
we all know that the polling in 2016 was really bad, right?
Yep.
They got a lot of stuff wrong. Now on the national level, they got the approximate level stuff right, but the electoral college they were way off. They were most way off with white working class people. They either didn't expect them to vote or they expected them to vote Democrat instead of Republican, and they didn't. Now what has changed since then, except for all these white working class people getting displaced by Democratic governors taking their ability to earn for their families away from them? Like, sometimes you have to apply anecdotal shit like, well, this and this and this happened. Fuck. Think about yourself in that position. Even if you're you're like, I think there should be affordable health care at the national level and that the government should do something about it. Imagine you believe that.
Right.
Right? Is that a stronger belief than you being able to go out and work every day and earn a fucking living for your family? Is it a big enough belief that the 360 to 460,000 businesses that have shut down, 60% of them will never reopen? Is that a big enough deal? I don't think it is.
Yeah, we'll find out.
It seemed like a lot of this has been people pushing buttons without looking what the button does first.
Yeah,
Or even thinking about what the button
We've
does.
got to do something.
They're like,
bureaucracy and deliver
this is going to
cheeseburgers,
activate a movement. And they're like, cool.
Imagine
what
a
fucking
government
movement?
cheeseburger.
I love how you've gone full Hasselhoff on this show. It's great. It's great. Look, the last swing state, in my opinion, here,
Can you roll around the ground a little bit?
yeah, is New Mexico in this because I've got Virginia, and I think you guys will agree as well. I got Virginia going Biden, Oregon, Illinois, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Delaware, Washington.
So what's the
New
full
York,
delegate count? Better than
California,
4 years ago?
Maryland's, hang on, Massachusetts, Hawaii, and D.C. The only other one left is New Mexico in this. New Mexico is very close, in my opinion.
Democrat, probably.
Yeah, probably Democrat, right? So my final count in the Electoral College is 321 for Trump, 217 for Biden. You can book that as a Rostradamus prediction. 321 is the final delegate count in the Electoral College for Mr. Donald John Trump. As my prediction, and he declares himself the winner, probably without a Biden call that comes in and says, "Hey, man, we're giving up."
Yeah, there's gonna be a reverse of the Karl Rove situation.
Right.
Where Karl Rove is predicting the end, and it's not the end, and people on the left will be saying, "Well, this is not whatever the fuck," and it'll be the end. By the way, there's some good data on this. So, late voters, by the way, people that registered same day or registered within several weeks of the election, 30% in swing states went to Trump.
Really?
This is another indicator of why these national polls are bullshit.
They are bullshit.
30
Are they all landlines?
It's not
Let me ask you guys
bullshit,
this.
it's cheeseburger.
Yeah, exactly. Is it all landlines, by the way? Is that what these polls are? Like, nobody can figure out what
there's
these
a lot
fucking
there's a
numbers are
lot
coming
more
from.
digital ones, right? Because here's the problem. People, at least in 2012, thought that there was some kind of shyness. People didn't want to answer over the phone, but they were more likely to be more honest in an online survey that was anonymous. Turns out that wasn't true.
I think something really important, and it could be, well, I'm sure it is slightly different when it comes to elections, but who the fuck fills out a bunch of polls on the internet?
I've been contacted 20 times. I haven't filled out one of
pop-up
them.
fucking thing, I have
always hang
never
up.
touched
Agreed.
one.
I mean,
no matter what the fuck it is.
think about it this way. Let's say something happens tomorrow and Biden says something stupid. How many Republicans or conservatives or neutral people are going to go out and protest what he said?
Nobody.
Now imagine the opposite. Trump says, I think we should ban travel to China because there's a resurgence in COVID over there. Everybody will be out on the street protesting. So people that are more motivated to get involved in the public discourse like that, i.e. not the silent majority, are more likely to answer these fucking
Liberals
polls.
are drama queens,
And that's
so, yeah.
why they never fucking work, man. I mean, it was 30% in Wisconsin, and Florida and Pennsylvania, two other swing states. He won those by 17% of late voters. I mean, it's a plurality. It's not even a plurality. It's a majority of votes from these.
I agree. So last question.
It's not even close. It's
Last
like
question.
70. It's like 70.
Trump wins by 312.
So 312 is the Electoral College votes that I have Trump securing. And I think he wins, and I think he makes a speech by 12:30
So then
that
Hillary
night.
2.0 gets like 180 something, 280 something.
Correct.
The Trafalgar group.
And I think as the late ballots come in, the write-ins, I think Biden probably wins the popular vote out of California. All of it's going to be
probably
out of the
about
West.
2.5 to 2.8 million votes.
Correct.
My
less
guess.
than
Yeah.
Hillary,
Yeah.
but more in line with
Yeah.
that, and it'll be mail-in ballots, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then the Democrats will bitch about blowing up the Electoral College, blowing up the Supreme Court,
Yep.
and everything else.
They'll try, but they won't have the votes at that
Oh,
point.
we didn't
I
comment
agree.
after you played that. Your prediction was better than mine on RBG.
Yes. Well, look, they don't call me Rostradamus for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
They call it because you made that word up and told everybody to call it.
Oh no! So I'm one of the best at sports gambling, and I certainly know my politics.
So what happens
we'll
if Trump
see.
dies at COVID?
So
God forbid.
The Democrats will try to keep the election going as is, and the Republicans will try to postpone it.
And I think Ivanka slides in there because she's the most famous, and they try to go for Ivanka.
What on paper is supposed to happen if that?
There's no. So what he mentioned the 20th Amendment earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
The 20th Amendment changed the inauguration date from like March until January, right? Like you can still do something like that, but to overturn the constitutional amendment, you need 67 votes in Senate. That's a big deal. That's not going to happen.
No.
Right? So it goes back to the election commissions and the Republicans. We mentioned this on the show last week. If Trump died or Biden died, the RNC and DNC respectively would have to nominate a new person. Kamala Harris doesn't just become the nominee. She's not appointed by anybody.
Yeah, I've talked to White House lawyers. What he's saying.
Yeah.
They say Trump's getting elected. Other than he's dead, he wins.
I agree.
They're going to have the Supreme Court's going to put him in.
Yes. I agree as well. And
done.
I've got 312 is my electoral college.
By the way,
combo.
the Trafalgar Group, which is the only guy who got it right in 2016, the only one, he has Trump winning Michigan, North Carolina, Florida, Wisconsin, Arizona, Texas, and even within a half point in Minnesota right now.
That's what I said.
And if he wins,
exactly what I just said.
If he wins Michigan, Wisconsin, or Minnesota, based on current polling, he wins. He probably wins the election. If he wins Michigan, Pennsylvania, he definitely wins.
The only
Either
the
one
only
of
one
those.
that is a toss
If
up
he
for
wins
me is
either one of those.
It's a
Pennsylvania.
Hasselhoff challenge where you drink bottles of whiskey, you roll around, eat cheeseburgers on the ground.
Oh, that's election night. So we're doing
Yeah.
a live show November 3rd at Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Ice House downtown.
Are you doing anything election night?
Well, you guys.
You got to
Yeah,
make an
come on
appearance
down.
out there.
Okay, hey,
Our
it's
fans
a
would love that.
7-hour live show. We're live on YouTube. The last one was gangbusters for the debates. Now's the point in the show we get to the Drinkin Bro of the Week. This one was submitted by Kira Schultz from California, member of Drinkin Bros for just a few months, but he loves the show. He's nominating Jack Goodshow. I like how he put good show in pronunciation because that's not spelled like that. Reason for the nomination: for being the dopest boyfriend out there. To the America-loving, hard-working, and one of the biggest fans of Dan Holloway out there. Happy birthday, Jack. I love you so much. You make so many people proud. Your brutal honesty and strength to put up with no bullshit is admirable to so many. Jack is a state lifeguard, but he is currently going through the San Pasquale Fire Academy, pursuing his dream to become a firefighter. Thank you for getting me hooked onto the most badass podcast out there.
Yeah!
Happy birthday. You're amazing. I love you. Here's a song from Danny Warsnop. Go.
Hey there, well done.
What the hell?
My brain was half asleep.
Was this submission? Who was the name of the person that submitted this?
Kira Schultz.
Kira Schultz.
Yes.
Well, congratulations on having a dude that isn't a fucking pussy.
Absolutely.
You know what I realized?
What's up?
This is not an opiate. It's a cheeseburger dip.
Yes,
Yeah.
dude. That's what it is.
Cheeseburger
brother.
den. That's what he runs a professional. Just Jared Taylor.
Jared Taylor runs a cheeseburger
Professional.
den.
He's Wimpy from Popeye, basically.
I had
Exactly.
2 cheeseburgers.
Exactly.
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday.
Gladly pay you
Danny, do
Tuesday.
you have any new music coming out soon?
Kind of. I am, well, as of 4 days ago, we've started tracking my new record.
Great.
Which is going to be out first quarter of next year. Asking Alexandria finished our record contract, so we can't release an album for a year. So, kind of no.
But the
But
cat,
coming soon, coming
the
soon,
cat
coming
did
soon.
have all of its babies on the recording
It did.
studio
Yeah, you were
floor,
right about
just
that.
exactly
Yep,
like you
you called
predicted.
If you don't
You
buy that
predict-
record,
I
you're
predicted
killing
that
those
too.
kittens.
Predicted
I predicted
again.
that
Those
too.
kittens are being loaded into like mortar rounds.
Rostradamus predicted that as well, dude. Maybe I can see into the future. I'm not sure. Either way, this is a great pre-election show, and this is the prediction show for D'Anthony Holloway, Mr. Alex
And I'm
Jones,
taking him down.
Jared Taylor, Danny Warsnop. I'm Ross Patterson. We're the Drinkin Bros. Good night, everyone.